Hi, beautiful people. Hopefully, you can hear me. If you cannot, please let me know. But hello and welcome, everybody. I hope everything is well with you. I hope that you're doing okay. I am in a different setting because I am out of town. So, this setup is a little different, but we're still going to talk and hopefully, you all can hear me loud and clear. Yay. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Her Journey to Freedom. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, please let me know if you can hear me, if everything is good, please. But yes, hello. Good morning. Good morning. All right, so this conversation or this topic. Hi, Kelsey L. Hello. Hello. So this topic of unpopular opinions, I've been thinking about having this conversation for a minute. However, I've been trying to like wrestle with the thoughts that I have and why I have them. And so I have a few unpopular opinions that I want to talk through that I think are harmful and detrimental to us. But I also have like one main thing that I want to talk about today. And if we get to the other ones, wonderful. If not, there's no pressure. But hello and welcome. I'm happy that you are here. Yay. Hi, Mariah. Hello. Thank you, baby. Thank you so much. Hi, Mariah again. I'm excited for this because Woo Chat, listen. Okay. So last night, okay, thank you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I feel good today. I feel beautiful. I had a rough yesterday. Like I said, I'm out of town. Yesterday was rough, but today I feel relaxed. I actually went to bed like before 8 o'clock apparently last night, so I was tired. That's a whole story. That's a whole story by itself. So yes, I'm out of town. The Airbnb that I was supposed to go to, it was not. It was not it. It had a lot of pest issues, and so last minute. So I'm out of the country with my husband right now. So we had to get a hotel last minute, and so we're at a hotel now. We're resting. My trip is going to be cut short, and that's okay. But I'm having fun while I'm here. I'm able just to take a second. I really realized that I haven't really had much of a vacation in a long time. It's always like doing something or traveling for, family and things like that, but not really for resting and relaxation. So we're going to take our little week, relax, and head back home. so, so yes, making the best out of tough situations. But yay. Hello. Hey, A-lined Mika. Good to see you. Hi, Truth Eternal. Hello. Oh, thank you. Hello, hello. Hi, I am not Jessica. Hello. Hi, Sahara Minzy. Welcome, welcome. And of course, I don't have my glasses, but hello, Russo-ish. Hello, or Russo-ish. Hello, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for being here. Okay, so this whole conversation got started with a thought that I had last night. I was thinking about things and thinking about how a lot of us like over spiritualize things. Everything to me is spiritual, right? Everything is spiritual. However, a lot of us simplify complex situations and solutions by saying really romantic and spiritual things that can actually be really, really harmful. Hi, Nia X. It's good to see you. I'm glad that you're stopping by. It's all good. I know it's late. So, hello. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Okay, so the thing that hi, Aisha K. Hello. Hello, London. Hello. The thing that I posted, I'm going to share my screen with you because I put it on Instagram. Let me share my screen. Present. Share screen. Okay, so this is what I tweeted the other day. I tweeted, sometimes it's not scarcity mindset. Sometimes it truly is manufactured scarcity. So sometimes it's not scarcity mindset. Sometimes it truly is manufactured scarcity, right? So the reason why I was thinking about this was because you hear a lot in the, I guess, spiritual community, wellness community about abundance and lack. And I think all of it is good. And hopefully we're going to have a conversation with Sandra, Miss Sandra from Lack to Legacy to talk about abundance. But it's this idea that, we should be abundant minded, that we should not be scarcity minded, meaning we should try to see kind of like the same phrase, like let's see the best in every situation, or, let's look around us and see what's abundant around us as opposed to what is lacking or what is scarce. And so in theory, this is a really good phrase. It's a really good thing that we consider, what is abundant around us, because we all like I've said myself, we lack nothing, right? We lack no good thing. However, this phrase can also be gaslighting to people. It can be gaslighting. So this is the thing that I wrote under the picture. And excuse me if I feel all over the place. I'm processing my thoughts in real time right now with you guys. So welcome. But this is what I wrote down. I said, sometimes it's not scarcity. Sometimes it's not a scarcity mindset. Sometimes it is truly manufactured scarcity. I guess I could show y'all. Hold on. Let me show you the screen. Share screen so you all can read along with me. Yay. All right. So let me start over. So I said, sometimes it's not a scarcity mindset. Sometimes it is true. Sometimes it truly is manufactured scarcity. Greed creates lack. Hoarding creates lack. Oppressive systems create lack. I try often to have an abundance mindset, but I can see why that phrase can be harmful. We have to speak truth about how these are systems and people who help create lack and scarcity for profit, for self-esteem, and for other things, of course, right? There are enough resources. There is enough space. But there are also people and systems that are insatiable. In the words of my bestie Marcus, there's enough for everyone, but not enough for greed. So again, there's enough for everyone, but not enough for greed. And shout out to all of you all who are commenting. I appreciate you all, and I'm going to respond to all the messages, but that's essentially the message, right? Like, it's this idea that we're told that the reason why we're experiencing lack is because we have a poverty mindset or we have a lack mindset, right? But we don't really talk about the fact that a lot of us have scarcity mindsets or lack mindsets because we have experienced lack. We have experienced scarcity. Like, we know what that feels like. I mean, I think, yes, some people are afraid of experiencing it because maybe they haven't experienced it before, but most of us are feeling and thinking from a place that, no, we've been here before. We know what that feels like. We know what it feels like to lack. We know what it feels like to be without, right? And I think it's complicated, and I think I have a lot of thoughts and I have notes, but I think for especially poorer folks, Black folks, people on the fringes, people on the outside, right? For a lot of us, we know what abundance truly is because we have often had to make the best with the least, right? We know what it feels like to have scraps. That has been our lot, sadly, because of a system and because people are hoarding things, right? People are not sharing. But because people don't share, we know what it's like, especially poor folks, know what it's like to have to pull together a whole meal using scraps. And in that moment, it can feel like abundance because if you bring your scraps, I bring my scraps, you bring your scraps, right? We all come together and we all feast, right? And so that feels like abundance, and it is abundance. It is that feeling of having more than enough. Those stories that we tell, even spiritually, in church, right? The idea of the woman with the oil, and she's like, oh, this is all I have, and she had more than enough, and she had some to share. Or we hear the scripture about talking about Jesus and how there was a few loaves and a few pieces of fish, and you break it, you bless it, and you share it, and there's enough resources for everybody, right? But it's we experience abundance within an oppressive system. We still cannot forget, nor should we forget, that it's still scraps. Even though it feels abundant, even though we make the best out of bad situations, it is still scraps. And it's created to be scraps for us. It's it's that way on purpose. Let me see what y'all saying in the comments, and I'm gonna get to my notes. But yes. Hi, Princess Shenanigans presents. Hello, I love that name. Hi, Child of 83. Thank you. It can be gaslighting, especially when the person who is telling you to have an abundance mindset is hoarding resources or is coming from an exploiting position. Yes, exactly. And we're going to get into that too, because yes, we're going to get into that too. But yes, absolutely. Child of 83. Thank you. Yes, Nia. Yes. Hi, Jenny. Hey, Alicia, seen the post. Glad you're speaking on this. Thank you for being here, and thank you for seeing the post. I appreciate that. Thank you. Journey to Kingdom Woman. Hello. Ooh, that's good. There's enough for everyone, but not enough for greed. Exactly. There's no lack of resources. There's no lack of wealth. There's no lack of good food, of money. We've talked about that here before, right? This idea of abundance. And I think for myself, it's yes and, right? It's yes, the abundance speak, the scarcity mentality, all that good stuff. But also, and there is a system that is keeping some people without so that people have, right? It's both. It's both. And it's still awful. And it's still oppressive, and it's still harmful. So yes, there is enough for everybody, but it's not enough for people to be greedy. It's not enough for people to hoard stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yes. Hi, Grow Your Melanin. I made it to alive. I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. And I love that name. Hi, Fire comes out of me. Hello, hello. I love that name. Fire comes out of me. Yes. Let's see. Child of 83 says, also, it's bad when older generations who may have experienced something like the Great Depression get mad at younger generations for demanding more. Yeah. Not demanding more out of greed, but of fairness. Yeah, yeah, yes. Hi, Afternoon Roses. Hi, Renee Neves. Hello. Hey, AP Demo. Ooh, hey, AP Demo. Happy that you're here. Hi, Miss Hurricane. Truth Eternal. Hello. Truth Eternal says, I've often heard it said the system is broken. It isn't. It's designed that way. Precisely, right? Like, we got to fix the system. What do you mean? We can't fix something. And this is something that I've said too. And I think I've meant well when I've said it. But you can't fix something that's not broke, right? You have to destroy it. You have to destroy it and start over again. And the people don't want us to destroy it. And that's why, like, even I have complicated thoughts. I know that we're trying to save something and trying to build off of bad land, but if the bones are bad, it has to be destroyed. If the root is bad with plants, they'll tell you, people who deal with plants, if the root of the plant is bad, the whole plant is bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to make something what it never was meant to be. It never meant to benefit us. You know what I'm saying? So we got to create a whole new system and stop hoping and praying for the system to change, because I feel like our efforts could be put elsewhere. But that's another, conversation for another day. But yes. Let's see. Hi, Oh, it's good to see you. Hey, seeing you pop up on my notifications brighten my day. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hi, JV from London. Hello. Mai says, or Mai says, so excited to see you. Your videos have become a part of my morning routine. Wow, I'm grateful. I'm happy. I'm happy that they're helpful. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Hi, Sophia A. Sophia A says, yes, there's a spirit of slavery in our society and institutions. Amen. Scraps are still scraps. At the end of the day, scraps are still scraps. Thank you for that, Sophia A. Yes, aligned. Please, if you enjoy this, please like the live. It really helps the video get out there. When I talk about topics like this, I'm not really expecting a lot of, traction or whatever. But if you would like to help the message get out there to the folks, please share this so that other people can see it. So thank you. Thank you, A-Lined Mika. Thank you. Shosho Oshiefi. Hello. Hey, hi, Alicia. I call you the musical sage. Oh, so much wisdom I gained from you. Shosho from Nigeria. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you for that. That's very kind. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. Hi, Shellwell. Hi. Hello. Let's see. Girl Melanin says, you're freeing so many black women. OMG, I'm finally realizing I don't have to follow some status quo to live happily and easily. You don't. And same, I'm learning the same thing. So yes, you're our spiritual Harriet Tubman. I appreciate that. Those are huge shoes to fill. I can't be no Harriet Tubman, but I hope that being Alicia is enough. I hope that that's still helpful. So yeah, so thank you so much though, Girl Melanin. That's really kind. That's really kind of you. Alicia, you said something in one of the first videos that I ever saw. You said we were trying to compete in a system that was never built for us. That has always stayed with me. Yes, like we were kept out of the system, right? And so now we're trying to infiltrate the system and like reap the benefits of that system. But that system was never meant for you and me. You feel me? Like literally, like if you go back to the foundations of this country and a lot of other places, right? Like if you go back to the foundations, and I'm speaking obviously because I'm American. So from the American perspective, like thinking about the Constitution and all these different things, we were never included in that. They weren't considering us, black folks, woman folks, poor folks, right? Like they were not considering us when they wrote that stuff. And so we're looking to benefit from a system that needs poor people and black people and oppressed people to operate, to thrive. Like that's literally the foundation of this country. And so to think that we can, one, acquire that without harming other people, right? And to think that we can reap the benefits of that without having to do any harm is silly, right? And also, again, it's not meant for you. So even if you get there, there's still going to be some side eyeing. There's still going to be some disruption. I hope what I'm saying is making sense. But yes. Hi, Tracy. Hello. Hello, Alicia. I'm so happy I caught a live stream. You're a godsend. Oh, yay. So much wisdom gained. Thank you so much for being here. And again, I hope that as I work through these thoughts, y'all can rock with me because I'm processing this in real time and I don't have full thoughts about this. But as someone who has repeated, and I still firmly believe in abundance mindset. I still firmly believe that generosity creates abundance, right? But the problem is the spiritual community that talks about abundance usually don't look like folks like me. You know what I'm saying? Usually don't look like folks like me, usually are run by, let's talk about it, it's heavily white. The spiritual space, the abundance space, all the people doing all that talking are usually a lot of wealthy white people, right? And so, yeah, so I do agree that generosity creates abundance, but if some people are hoarding wealth and aren't being generous, then abundance stops. You feel me? So, okay. So these are my notes. This is what I want to say, right? And I really want to hear you all's input too so we can work through this together. Okay. So one of the things, you have a scarcity mindset. So I have a whole list of unpopular opinions again that I want to get to, but if we don't, that's okay, but I do want to talk about this one. The idea of you having a scarcity mindset is the reason why you're poor, is the reason why you're experiencing pain and trauma and heartache, is the reason why like you're experiencing negative things in your life, is very gaslighting. It's harmful. It's harmful. And the thing is though, even though I believe in abundance mindset, I would never say that to somebody. You just have a scarcity mindset. No. Some people are poor. Some people are experiencing financial issues, right? But this is what I say, like, technically, if we look at a chart, I am considered a poor person. You know what I'm saying? And even though I know that I experience abundance, I have to talk about that fact. I have to be honest about that thing. Technically, yes, I am a poor person. And some of that is not my own fault. And like, it's this idea that the reason why you're poor is because of something you did. And I think that we do that a lot because we want to feel like, one, there's something that we can do to keep us from being poor, right? And then two, we do that to separate ourselves from those people. And I almost feel like some people do that. Some people say that, like, other themselves from poor people because they have sorrow. They have sorrow towards that person, but in order to not feel it, it's easier to say like, oh, I could never be them. That would never be me. Because I do what's right. I pay my bills. I pay my taxes. I tithe for all my churchy folk, right? Like, I tithe. I give. Like, that could never be me. I could never experience poverty. You know what I mean? When in reality, we're all about 1, 2, 3, being generous, paychecks away within the American system to losing everything. It don't take much. It could take a fall or an injury or an illness or like things that you cannot control to experience poverty. And so I will never turn my nose up to people experiencing poverty because that's silly. That could be me. And technically, if I'm looking in a communal way, that is me, right? And the idea of generosity and abundance is that if I see someone who is experiencing poverty, then I do with it what's within my ability to do something about it, right? Like, I do something about it. I don't just talk about it and say to a poor person, you're just experiencing scarcity mindset. That's why you're poor. What? So we're going to bypass all the things that are set up for people to fail. And the reason why I struggle with this a lot is because I kept listening to, and I'll be real, these white, very Eurocentric, spiritual people, right? Spiritual people who they're like, yeah, I'm wealthy because I'm abundant and I call everything to me. And so then like I'm listening to these people and I'm thinking to myself, well, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my scarcity mindset? Like, I'm thinking abundantly. I'm doing all the things. I'm doing the affirmations. I'm praying. I'm giving, right? I am a generous person in general. Like I try to be. What's wrong with me? Why can't I experience this wealth that you're experiencing? And I become envious and I start like looking at myself and tearing myself apart, trying to figure out like, okay, Alicia, what scarcity things are you buying into? Like I've been on unemployment. I have been, I've had to live in my mom's house. Like I've experienced all those things. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking like, well, you're telling me in theory that I should have all this stuff, that I should be secure financially and good. And they never want to acknowledge the harm, one, that they've probably caused, the exploitation that they do, the exploitation that they benefited from in a system, just even by the way you look. You're a thin, white, blonde-haired woman. There are doors open to you that are not for me right away, right? Like there are things that I have to do differently. There are ways that I have to operate that are different. There are different hurdles that I have to overcome. Talking about how many, like a 400-year advancement you've had that I'm still trying to heal my ancestral lineage from. You feel me? Like there are so many things that we're not addressing, but you're covering it, you're over spiritualizing it, and it's harmful. And so this is like to the white wellness community. Check yourself, check your privilege, and check your mouth. This idea of abundance, is it really abundance if you're experiencing all this abundance and other people are suffering? Is that really abundance? Like, what does abundance require for you? Not you, obviously, not y'all I'm talking to, but like these thoughts. Let me see what y'all saying. But yes, I don't know. My glasses are. Let's see. It's also them projecting. Absolutely, it is projection. It is. It is. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Hi, Cinnamon. Cinnamon says, yes, I've been struggling with that mindset thing. Same. Like, oh, if I'm struggling financially, is it because my mindset's not correct? No. Sometimes people are keeping opportunities from you and information and resources and chances, right? A chance. Some of us just need a chance. Journey to Kingdom Woman says that's a sick statement and comes from a place of privilege. Precisely. And it's very othering, right? It's like, oh, I'm not them. I'm above them. I'm a good person. I do what I'm supposed to do. That person is poor because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. That's not true. That's not true. I'm feeling like I'm not thinking my way out of it. Yes. The meditations, the affirmations, the prayers, the trying to keep a positive mindset, like trying to find, ooh, thank you God, trying to find like the rainbow, like the pot of gold at the end of the, whatever. Messing up my metaphors, but you know what I'm trying to say. Trying to find the silver lining, right? But the thing is, Black folks specifically, poor folks specifically, are the best people to find a silver lining because they have to. There is no other option, right? A lot of us don't even get to address our traumas and our fears and our scarcity mindsets because we're surviving day to day. Poor folks, Black folks, and not saying that they're one and the same because they're not. Like there are wealthy Black people, right? But I'm speaking from a poor Black person's perspective. Or a person experiencing poverty. There are things that are just different. And I'm gaslighting myself by saying, like, you're not abundant minded. You're not resourceful. You're not thoughtful. When that's all I've been my whole life is resourceful. I'm the queen of resourcefulness. And I think at this point in my life, I'm just tired of having to be resourceful. I know that I can be. I know that I can be creative. My imagination is wild. I can create something out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Poor folks can create something out of nothing. But to keep telling them that they're where they are because of their lack mentality is a lie. It's a lie. It might be something else, but that don't make no sense to me because I work hard to survive, right? Truth Eternal says, yes, it's gaslighting one-on-one. Exactly. Her Journey to Freedom says, girl, tell the truth. This country was not created for us to be prosperous. We do it in spite of, and it is exhausting, and our well-being has suffered for generations. Thank you for that, Her Journey to Freedom. Exactly. And then they'll tell you things like, oh, you're just a complainer. You're just a whiner. Like, yeah, I'm gonna complain. Yes, and like I'm learning to like own the stuff that people call me because, okay, and so what about it? Right? Like, yes, I'm complaining about an evil system. What's the problem there? And why do I have to own that shame like I should be ashamed of it? I didn't create the system. I didn't do that, right? Fire Comes Out of Me says, today, especially in some states, they are showing us how the system was not made for us. Look at how they are coming after our African-American history and equity laws. Exactly. So if if we weren't such a threat, if knowing the truth wasn't a threat, why are you silencing people that are talking about legit things that literally happened? That the people back in the day admitted to happening, like their journals, their diaries. Why are we pretending that didn't happen? You know? OMG, and the middle class isn't even a middle class anymore. It's not. Middle class is struggling. Soon, like I do see that divide getting further and further apart between those experiencing poverty and those who have wealth and resources. And that's the thing. When they talk about, oh, you're just a negative Nancy and you're just complaining. It's like, I am actually very positive, but I'm also real. I'm not delusional. I see what's happening. And of course, like we're like, be delusional, and I'm all for it, right? I'm all for that. But I'm talking about delusional in a different way, where I am ignoring the oppression and suffering of other people to feel so that you feel good about your own ego and your own self. You know what I mean? There is a struggle there, and whenever I make these kind of videos, people talk about like, oh, well, you're anti-capitalist, but you're buying stuff and you're selling stuff. It's like, yeah, because I have to survive. Do you think I want to do this? I'm not a capitalist because, like, one, I'm not the one benefiting from all this stuff. I'm just trying to survive. And yes, I do want to become wealthy. It's like this tug of war between yourself. You want to be wealthy, but I don't want to exploit people. I don't want to harm people in the process. And we live in a country and a system where it's almost impossible to thrive and to buy things without someone else being harmed. They remove all other options for thoughtful purchases and work. because everything is about exploiting somebody else. Like the clothes that we want to wear, right? From the Sheens to the H&Ms and all these other places, like they're the ones creating the clothes that are affordable for people, right? They're creating the clothes that are affordable to people, using air quotes, depending what they're selling and what your budget is. What's affordable is dependent on the person. So I understand that. But they're creating affordable clothing, right? That don't last long, that's cheap. So then we have to keep recycling and buying new clothes. You feel me? And so the stuff that we want that are quality are more expensive. And so we can't have those things. Nice things, you poor people. Like that's what it's giving, right? Like you can't experience nice things. That's a premium. The quality stuff is a premium. So we're living in a system where even if you want to purchase mindfully, ethically, that's what I'm looking for. If you want to purchase things ethically or do things ethically, it's hard. And it's even harder when you have limited resources and means and funds. So yes, I am going to be selling stuff. Yes, I don't want to, but I have to because I got to eat. You feel like literally I got to eat. Anyway, but yes. Ooh, it's giving pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. And Mariah, I hate that phrase. Because first of all, that does not make any sense. If I pull my bootstrap, the only way that I can elevate is by putting my foot on somebody else. And that's all they have done. So get out of here with this pull yourself up by, you didn't pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. You came to a country. And again, from this specific, like a Black American experience, and also other, shout out to the folks in the Caribbean and all these different places, Brazil, South America, all the places, all the things, in the UK, all of it. You took land that wasn't yours. You stole. You stole from people. You stole from people, bought people, and were making money, and was making money hand over fist because these people were birthing people because you were forcing them to give birth, right? And then also because they were having babies with each other. So you were getting wealth that you didn't have to work for. So you stole land, you stole people, you acquired wealth by hoarding those resources and those people because people were the resource. You're hoarding the resources. You're like everything that you have, all the wealth in this country is stolen wealth. It's stolen wealth. So you were able to make money without even trying, but you're telling me, what do you call it? My ancestors were enslaved, right? A person whose ancestors experienced slavery, you're telling me just to pull myself up by my own bootstraps. No, it's giving hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. You're a liar. You're a liar. You know what really that phrase means. It's very individualistic and it's a lie because even though individualism is praised here in the West, in this Western idea, right? Even if you're in a different place, like the West has taught us that like, oh, you got to be an individual. Community is the downfall, right? They've split us up, but they all work together to oppress other people. Y'all were not by yourselves. I'm confused. Oh, my bad. ONG means on God. Thank you. Thank you. I thought it was OMG. But yes, ONG means on God. Yes. 3 paychecks away from poverty. Try 3 cents away. Hello. And listen, that's what I'm saying. Like this idea of like, oh, you're not abundant minded. I am the queen of abundance. Okay. I literally live by my daily bread day to day. Sadly, as an artist, as an independent artist, especially, and I'm committed to my art, there are things that I have to do to make, like, I have to be very creative in my living situation. Shout out to Stephanie Perry. She talks about house sitting. Like me and my husband want to start house sitting. We travel outside the country, right? Like, that's even a privilege to even have a passport, to even be able to go outside the country, right? Like, but not because I want to take advantage of people, because it's cheaper here to do things, to have access to things like good fruit and vegetables, right? Like we've traveled in an RV, and that could be a privilege too. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no fancy, but we traveled in an RV, things that people look down on and say like, oh, well, that's trailer trash stuff. We've traveled in a car. We've lived in a car. Like we've gotten very creative in our living situation because I'm committed to the work that I want to do. And so I know that, and I've made peace with the fact that maybe I'll never be a millionaire. Maybe I'll never, I don't know. Maybe I'll never do the things that they tell you should be what you dream of. Maybe I'll never experience those things. And I've made peace with that because I want to experience joy in my own way. I've talked about this before. Me and my husband were RVing and we came to no money. We had no money, stranded in Florida. We were in, what do you call it? In the West Coast, somewhere on the West Coast. I think about think about it after after this is over probably. But we were in Florida and we were eating like nuggets from Burger King every day, and that's when they had like the $1.39 nugget or something like that. Like it was like whatever, $1.39 nuggets, and so we were eating that every single day, and literally we were living by literal daily bread. But I felt so abundant in that moment because I had the beach. I couldn't buy nothing at the beach, right? But the beach where we went was free, and so I could sit there and watch the ocean. I can get in the water. I can, just be around that like salty air. That was abundance for me. Being present in the moment, knowing I only had like $5 in my bank account. Literally, like I'm trying to tell y'all, literally, I am creative, I am resourceful, I am abundant. But also, things are created in ways so that people suffer and struggle. And that is what they mean by that bootstrap. That's my whole point. The bootstrap, you're putting your foot on the oppressed poor people. That's what's happening. That's the bootstrap. I'm pulling at my boot and putting it on somebody else and keep climbing. You know what I'm saying? So yes. Yes. The last thing we need is more guilt. Exactly. Exactly. Hey Gina. Hey, just hopped on in your audio speaking facts. I'm glad that you're here. I hope that y'all are resonating with this or feeling me on this. But yes, this was never even our dream. This was never even our dream. As Native people and African people, we are meant to love and experience nature and community. What is this? What is this ghetto? I say often, like, we had everything and y'all made money. We had everything and y'all, okay? Because it wasn't me. Y'all made money with all this wild and beautiful nature. Y'all made money with all these beautiful people. You made money. It's ghetto. And I don't mean ghetto as in classes. I mean like, no. Like that's ghetto compared to the sun. That's ghetto compared to a hug or love or fresh food, right? Like that's ghetto. Like that's bad. Like that's, and not that I equate ghetto to bad, but like it's a colloquial term. I don't know if it's problematic or not, maybe. But it's just like this idea of like we had everything. And this is what you chose. Capitalism. That's crazy. That's crazy. Hi, London. There was a conversation on NPR where there were two UCLA college professors who were homeless. Wow. And I've heard like college professors don't get paid that much money. They don't. My teacher in high school, my English teacher, my British literature teacher, he taught us, and he told us that his wife was a professor at college. I don't know which college that she was at, so I say just at college. So she made less money than he did. And I think because she wasn't tenure or something, but even to get tenure, you got to jump hoops and hurdles and stuff like that. And it's just like, and they require more work from you. It's just too much. It's too much. But we're paying these institutions, which means that they're exploiting these teachers. They're exploiting these teachers. Without the professors, you have no college. But they get paid the least? Make that make sense. Well, really, without the college, without the teachers and the students, you have no college, right? But y'all making bank and making all these like $1 million investments into buildings and stuff like that. Okay. Priorities are off. Priorities are off. The American dream is trash. Period, Miss Hurricane. Rubbish. Exactly. They never tell you the whole truth. No one ever became wealthy by calling money to them. Never. Never. Like, I get the meditation and creating the space for the thought of it, but a lot of us don't have the space because we're struggling. Like, a lot of us don't have the mental capacity for it because we're struggling. It's hard to think beyond today when you don't have the resources for beyond today. It's hard. It's hard to think of a 10-year plan when you don't know what you're going to eat for dinner tonight. That's hard, right? When your meals are literally coming like, okay, we got enough for today. You know what I'm saying? So yes. Mariah says, whole time, some of these people I'm listening to have generational wealth on their side as well. I have to remind myself to acknowledge all factors before applying advice to my life. Exactly. And I'm learning this too, Mariah. Yes. Like, because it's not a one size fit all, because all of our situations are not one size fit all. You know what I mean? So yes. I can't stay. No problem, Tell. Thank you for being here. But I celebrate to the fullest extent the unbotheredness of your face and your thumbnail. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I was actually talking in another video and I grabbed the screenshot. So I appreciate that. Thank you. I won't lie. I try not to generalize, but I have such disdain, for white Americans/Europeans. They've hurt so many people. Sorry, y'all. Okay. I understand. I think it's valid. There's a difference. I know people want to talk about like black people are prejudiced too. And I wrestle with that because no, black people have a good memory. Sorry. That's not how that works. It's not like it's not like I'm out here wishing harm on people, but I do have a distrust generally of white folks. Until you prove to me that you're anti-racist, until you're proving to me that you're doing the work, I don't trust white folks. I'm gonna just say it. I don't. Sorry. And so it's not disdain, it's not hatred that I feel. I mean, no. I'm sorry, excuse me. Disdain is not hatred, is what I'm trying to say. It's not hatred for the person that I feel. It's legitimate concerns that I have because of things that have happened to me and the people that I love and know, the people who came before me, the people who created the systems, how you're benefiting from the system, but you're not talking about it to preserve yourself, right? Like, I don't, because of my history with white folks, I don't generally trust them. And I don't know if that makes me prejudiced. And maybe that does, but I think that's very human. If you have bad experiences with eggs, you're probably not going to want to eat eggs, right? So if I have bad experiences with a group of folks, generally, then I'm probably not going to want to hang out with them folks. I think we're allowed to feel that way. And it frustrates me because a lot of us, more gaslighting, more manipulation, more forcing us to be kind to people who have not been kind to us, right? We're always told, black folks, you all have to be kind and you have to be courteous and thoughtful, and don't give the hate they give you back. It's not hatred. It's wisdom. It's wisdom. I'm thinking about, and this is bad, but like I'm thinking about Pocahontas. I'm thinking about Pocahontas, where that scene where Pocahontas' dad was like, these white men are dangerous, right? And I say that jokingly often, but for real. I feel, and even though I have been stabbed in the back by black folks, I have been harmed by black folks, I have been taken advantage of by black folks, I think I'd rather be taken advantage of, if I have to choose, by black folks. There still is a kindred spirit, right? And there still is like grace for them too, because a lot of them are expressing harm that has been done to them. I know, I can understand where that root comes from. Not saying that we should subject ourselves to abuse or harm, but it's different, right? Like it's different. It's different. And so like, what I also love is like, there are white folks who watch this channel. There are Asian folks who watch this channel. There are people who are not black people and they let me talk my stuff. And they don't have a problem with it because it's not them. They know I'm not talking to them, right? But it's the ones that have an issue with it. I'm like, you don't see what's happening around here? If you won't admit what's happening around you, I can't rock with you. I can't. And I'm not going to dim my light or muzzle my mouth, like, or muzzle my words because you're uncomfortable. But you already knew what was happening. I got white folks that be like, yeah, white folks are crazy. You know what I mean? And obviously, when you say stuff like that, you're talking about all white people. No, I'm not. I'm talking about the crazy ones. What I said, right? But like, if you know it's not you, then what's the problem? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so my whole point is like, yes, they have hurt a lot of people. And the disdain makes sense. The hurt, the fear, the distrust makes sense. I can't live in your utopia where I don't experience harm as a black woman, as a black presenting woman, right? Like I don't have the privilege and luxury of living in that bubble where I'm not affected by none of that. You do. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm sorry. I'm with you. Jamaica C. Stuckey says, in short, it makes you feel like you are not enough. Exactly. Like there's a default or there's dysfunction. There's a different word I'm looking for, but there's dysfunction within you, and that's the reason why you're experiencing poverty, an illness, or whatever it is. No. Hi, Invincible Summer. It's good to see you. Yes. Wealth for some is synonymous with freedom. Exactly. And that's another thing. Thank you, London, for this. We all define wealth differently. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's important. Wealth is not just money. Wealth is good health. For me, it's good food. It's good people. It's like laughing until you cry, right? Like it's me releasing my belly, being in a place where I feel safe, where I don't have to hold everything in. Like for me, like when I'm stressed, my belly comes in towards my spine. Like I'm like clenching and my jaw's clenching. My shoulders are up here. When I can do this, I feel wealthy, right? Like I feel good. I feel like everything's okay in the moment, So yes. As a male or even black male, when we struggle financially, we are seen as worthless. I'm guessing that's gonna say worthless. Child of 83. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah, patriarchy has done a number on all of us. Money is important. I'm gonna just say that. Money is important because we gotta survive and money is a created thing, unfortunately. But yes, like I do think that again, this idea of what are you worth, right? Like what are you worth? The high value conversation, the all the things, right? Like what's your net worth, right? Like that's some sort of flex on somebody else. It's all slavery mentality. All of it. It's this idea that like, oh, my money protects me from the harm that you're experiencing, number one. But also my money sets myself apart from you. I'm a better black than you are. Or like there are many other options, right? Or like, oh, you know, when we look back at enslavement, right? When we look back at enslavement, people were literally worth the work they did, which makes sense why we also have this mindset that we're trying to unlearn now. I am my degree. I am my position at my job. I am my, however you want to define it. I am my kids. I am my, the world I've traveled. I am this, right? It's putting your worth into something external that somebody else can validate for you as opposed to from it coming within. I'm Alicia. I'm sacred. I'm loved. I'm enough. Period, right? So like we're still basing our worth off of worldly stupid stuff that we are worth more than. You're worth more than money. Money was created. Who determines how much money is worth? Right? When they stole everything they have. Like, you feel me? But yes, I hear you. I hear you. Thank you for sharing that. I told you I'm all over the place today because I have notes, but yes. Poverty is already hard on the self-esteem as it is. 1000%. This is something I wrote in my journal, and even coming here, like I was like, I don't know, as a person experiencing poverty, I don't know. Sometimes I feel guilty about having a good time, about spending money on myself, about going somewhere I want to go. I feel like, I don't know, am I making a good decision? I don't have a lot of money. Like, is this irresponsible? I know that people are starving. I could give this money to somewhere else, right? Like, feeling like I don't deserve a good time because I'm poor. Feeling like I haven't done enough. Feeling like I haven't done enough to deserve a good time or relaxation. Even with this whole trip that we're on now, everything went wrong. Everything went wrong. But we're here now, and like I'm able to rest and lay down. And I had all these ideas of what I wanted to do and what I wanted to create. Like it was going to be like, I've been saving up money to go out of town so I can like have like a creative retreat where I can just wake up, love on myself, you know, possibly go to the beach and come back and make stuff. Right. And so now that the whole thing is turned around, I was thinking about going home today. Thinking about going home today when we came 2 days ago. We came on Monday. It's Wednesday. So I thought about going home today. I'm like, whatever, it's canceled. Forget it. I'll just, you know, use the money in a more responsible way. And it's like, why isn't taking care of myself responsible? Why isn't making sure that I have fun and smile and laugh and eat good? Why isn't that responsible? Right? So like, poor folks, people experiencing poverty, it's like you already feel guilty for having a good time. There was this whole thread going around where this person was on like food stamps or something, which I'll probably be signing up for. But this person was on food stamps and they were buying like salmon and like ribs or something like that. Like it was something that people consider premium, right? And people were in the comment section talking about like, oh, who this person think they are. First of all, why is it that whenever we quote somebody and like get in a different voice, we say, oh, first, like, oh, anyway, but they're basically saying that this poor person should not be able to get crabs or whatever the heck they were getting. The food changes every time I say this, but they were getting something and the people didn't like it. I'm like, why are you in their pockets? If they want to spend their money that they can use on food, they can buy whatever food they want to buy it, but they don't think poor people should be having fun. They want to see poor people crying on the corner in the street, working themselves to the bone, right? We love a good come up story. Oh, I had nothing. I suffered and I made it through and now look at me. Like that's the story we want to tell ourselves, right? Like poor people deserve good food. Poor people deserve fun times. They deserve. They shouldn't have to earn that. But the thing is, we see poverty as a judgment. This person is poor because we make up all these different stories. They probably a drug addict. They probably stole from somebody. They probably got arrested and couldn't. And even with that, when a person gets arrested, now it's on their record. Now they can't get a job. Like it's just the whole system is screwed. But either way, like there's so much like storytelling we do up here to rationalize people being poor and hungry on the street. Like our brain loves rationalizing things, right? Like, but there is no rationale for why people should be poor and hungry on the street with all this wealth around us. That don't make sense. It shouldn't be so. Like, no, we should look that dead in our face and be like, dang, what the heck? And now, like, if you are a person, obviously, who has, the means, where can I give? How can I begin to try to solve this problem or fix this problem? Even though the problem should be fixed and solved by the people at the top, but they probably not going to do it. So it's left to us to be resourceful and creative. That's why I don't want to buy into the narrative no more that poor people are not creative or abundant. That's not true. That's not true. Anywho, but yes, sorry, that was a long tangent on that comment, but yes. And I'm saying because I felt this, like, not having a lot of money or access or resources makes you feel like trash. You already feel bad. You buying, you know what I'm saying? You can't even buy what you really want to buy. You're like trying to, it's a lot. But there's also a lot of mental here. Like, oh, I don't deserve that. There's a lot of asking and pleading and permission that we look for when you're experiencing poverty. It's like, I don't know, should I? Never mind, forget it. And we put things off because we don't want to be irresponsible. So yeah. I agree, Alicia. I had to stop watching certain non-POC spiritual influencers. It started to feel condescending and full of white privilege, 1,000%. And that's why I'm just like, we cannot abundance our way out of systemic oppression. Like, we can't meditate our way out of systemic oppression. We can't do it. We can't, what is the word? And not saying that all these things, I still think these are things that are good to do, right? But especially coming from non-POC folks, I don't really want to hear it. I followed them for a long time because I didn't really know where to get started, and like they were the loudest voices. And now I'm grateful for YouTube and podcasts and different things like that, books, right? But like they talked about abundance, right? But it still felt like something was off. It still felt like something was missing, that somebody was lying. Like there were pieces that just weren't, you know what I'm saying? People that just weren't telling the whole truth. And then I'm like, oh, Doug, Alicia, you're a Black woman in America. That's what's off. And so now I'm grateful to follow other Black women, specifically other Black women who are talking the talk and talking about both things, right? How to be abundant in an oppressive situation, right? Like, and what that looks like, how we can be creative, and how also this system is not perfect. The system is not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be living communally. If we were all sharing our resources, we wouldn't have to buy certain stuff, right? You used to be able to go to your neighbor's house and ask for some sugar, in theory. I've never done this, but I've heard people do this. You should be able to go to your neighbor and ask for sugar or salt, or can I borrow your lawnmower, right? Instead of like, oh, I have to save up enough because people don't want to share no more. You know what I'm saying? Black folks and people that are not in the West, I'll say. And in the West, I mean like mindset, not just like the placement. Are communal people. Indigenous folks like, people are communal people. That's how we thrive. Not in this way where it's like, oh, we're going to call in abundance. And what you really mean is just abundance for you. It's a very selfish thing. So yes. Hi, Chica. Here, taking a break from my dusty day. Oh, I'm sorry your day is dusty. I hope it gets, what's the opposite of dust? Clean? I don't know. I hope so. But yeah, let me come down because y'all are saying a lot of good stuff in the comment section. Hey, everybody. Hey, a villainous crone. I just saw you, but I'm going down. Let's see. Ooh, AP Demo says, sure, there are people that could be, but let's not act like Black people primarily hold these feelings due to our history with slavery and racism. I feel like it's not coming from the same space. Hold on. Sure, there are people that could be, but let's not act like Black people primarily hold these feelings due to our history with slavery and racism. I feel like it's not coming from the same place. Please expand, AP Demo, because I feel like I'm missing something. This is why I probably shouldn't have skipped down so far. But I hope that you can reiterate what you're saying. Hi, the other MJ. It's good to see you. Let's see. Hi, Leonia Abbott. Hello. Let's see. Hi, the green room. Let's not cheapen what? Tell me more. Oh, y'all are talking to each other. Okay. Well, please expound if you were talking to me, because I'm coming down to the comment section. Hello, Savannah White. Hello. Okay. A villainous crone says, I've learned you have to make your own joy, because if you follow the world systems for joy and happiness, you'd lose your mind. We're all worthy of just living. Otherwise, we wouldn't exist. That's it. Really? Like, that's it. We honestly were not put here to make money. Oh. Hi, Yvonne McBride. It's good to see you. That comment isn't for you. There's a whole... Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah, don't talk to y'all. If it's trolls, ignore them and point them out to me and I'll deal with them. Yeah. Don't even, it's fine. Don't. Don't engage. Disengage. Protect your peace for real. Like, this is supposed to be a peaceful place of conversation and kindness. If they're not being kind, and nah, don't do it. But yes, thank you. Thank you, Yvonne. And it's good to see you. It's good to see you. Okay, sorry. Let me go back. Um, but yes, we're all worthy of just living, otherwise we wouldn't exist. Exactly. That's how I feel. That's where I'm coming from. We were not put here. That's what I'm saying. We were not put here to create money. Money is new. Humanity is goes back thousands of years, depending on what you believe, right? It goes back thousands of years. This money system in America is only 300 plus years old. That's it. That's it. You're beyond money. You're worth more than money. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, it's a bot. Okay, tell me who it is so I can get them together. And we don't come here to be divisive, y'all. Please. Thank you. And not to the person responding to them. Talking about the person causing the drama. Okay, so yes. The neighbor thing makes me miss my old house. My mom sold it, but our neighbors always said, hey, and we're helpful. Yes, like that's what community is supposed to do. Where you don't have, somebody else comes in. And where they don't have, you come in. That's the whole point. So that we don't have to keep hustling and grinding for money and things, like, because everybody has something to share. Everybody has something to offer. Everybody is abundant. So anyway. Oh, thank you, Savannah White. I appreciate that. Thank you. Striding through doors says, I've been looking into adopting in the store. Oh, sorry. In the stories of many adult adoptees was the burden they had to be grateful that they were rescued. Yikes. Like animals, like they were rescued. No child chooses those circumstances. I'm so mad. I'm mad for you. I'm sorry about that. And no, like, that's annoying. I hate that. Like, oh, well, just be grateful that, no, if you're starting a comment with just be grateful that, no, let this person mourn. Like, I can't even imagine being someone who does not have access to their parents, right? I don't want to call them orphans. I don't like that word. But kids who don't have access to their parents for whatever reason, whether their parents gave them up. And then even like the stories behind that, right? Maybe their parents didn't hate their kid. Maybe they didn't have the resources to take care of them, right? Maybe they're struggling with things like harm or addiction or whatever it is, right? But you're trying to tell a kid that they're not going to understand it. They want their parents. They want to be wanted by the people who made them. That's a normal feeling, right? Like, be grateful that you're in conditions that you don't really want to be in. Yikes. Monopoly money, exactly. All this money is fake. Somebody just made it up. They stole the land, stole the people, stole the resources, right? And subjected them. You know what I'm saying? Subjected them, created these dollars that they just, we're going to say that this equals this. We're going to imagine that this equals this, right? And now we're slaving our lives away for these things that are made up. It's just so annoying. And I say made up, obviously, because yes, we do have to participate in capitalism. But shout out to, oh my gosh, I can't think of her name, but she does commentary on YouTube as well. She's amazing, by the way. Let me look her up. But she puts a disclaimer before every video she does. I think her name is Tiana, I think I'm saying that right. But she puts a disclaimer before every video saying it's possible to criticize capitalism while also participating in it. Because we don't have a choice not to. Hello? Like, let me see. Fab Socialism, thank you. Yes, Fab Socialism. Yes. Let me share her channel. Love what Tiana talks about on there. Yes, okay. Yes, Fab, yes. Okay, so I shared the link to Fab Socialism's channel. Yes, me too. Okay, this is my kind of deep dive on YouTube. But yes, like anyway. But yes. So like it's okay to criticize what you have to participate in. It's not, because at first I used to feel like I hate this, but also I have to do this. And if I want to do the things I want to do in life, I need to get resources and money. Like, does that make me a hypocrite? Like, am I being a hypocrite? And it's like, no, Alicia, you have to participate so that you can actually help the people that you want to help. You know what I mean? If and when I become wealthy in the way that other people understand, my money is going out. Even with what little money I have now, my money still goes out. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, as people experiencing poverty, we keep the money circulated. We do. We keep money going. It be the people that have the least that give the most. And I'm not talking about like amounts. I'm talking about percentage wise. people who are usually without, people who are on the fringes usually give the most, because it is more of a sacrifice to give from what we have versus what other people have when they have wealth. The percentage is usually larger. And specifically for black women keeps money in circulation in the community. You know, black men online, those black men be talking, y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say the name. It's almost like, what is the word? Voldemort. Like, you don't want to talk about them, but y'all know what I'm talking about. The men online talking about like, oh, you always getting your nails and your hair done, and oh, y'all doing all of this stuff, you getting your lashes done, right? Like it's some sort of waste. But I'm paying my homegirl. I'm keeping the money in the community. Hello? She gotta eat too. She's a magician. I look at hairstylists, makeup artists, like all the people in esthetician work, all of them as magicians. They help us to feel luxurious. They give us a luxurious experience. We feel delicious and fly when we walk in out the hair salon and the nail salon, right? Like, no, like we keep the money in circulation. When our parents need money, or our siblings need money, or our friends need money, we're the first to give. When somebody needs to watch the kids, it's one person that we go to, right? Like, generally speaking, that hey, can you watch my kids for me? Like, that's giving service. That's providing wealth. You feel me? Like, so all this talk, it's like, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because you don't even see the benefit of keeping money within the community. It'd be us. It'd be the people experiencing poverty. It'd be black women. It'd be black folks. Like, anywho. Wizards, okay? Wizards. And I love it. They're artists. They're taking what already is beautiful. Yes, like you already are beautiful. And I don't want to, say like, oh, you were beautiful because you wear makeup, whatever. But like, y'all know, like you take what is already beautiful and you enhance that. You have the skill to see like the shading, right? Gradients, color theory, like all this stuff that goes into that. You know what I mean? That we just take for granted because, oh yeah, my homegirl does makeup. No, that's a big deal. She's an artist. Or he's an artist, whoever's doing makeup, right? Like, that's a big deal. Anywho, but yes. So, but yes, Fab Socialism is that channel. I really enjoy her videos. Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. I'm in the wrong place. Okay, Rabia says, hi. I like that she adds tone indicators in her videos. That really helps. Yes, I love that. Because at first, she puts like letters in the corner. I guess it would be like over here. She puts letters in the corners of her video, and I'm like, what is that about? And I went into like, oh, this is to help people understand like the tone in which she's speaking. I think that's dope. That's accessibility. That's cool. Let's see. Wait, what? Let's see. Black people, by definition, are incapable of being prejudiced and or racist. Excuse me. Our anger and distrust comes from personal and historic experience. That part, I agree. And I think that's what I was saying before, is like this idea of, oh, y'all just hate people. No, we have a good memory. Like I said again, if every time I eat eggs, and that's why, anyway, if every time I eat eggs and I get sick, why would I keep eating eggs? If every time for me, milk. You know what I'm saying? Like, if every time I do that, I experience some sort of discomfort or harm, I would not keep going to that thing. I would distrust that thing more and more with every interaction I have of that thing. If people keep coming to me and saying, oh, this milk hurt my stomach. This milk makes me, get acne, whatever people, I don't know. I've heard people say that. I hope that helps as an example. But yes, no. It's experience. It's lived experience. It's told stories of those experiences. Are all white people bad? No, we know this. When we say white people crazy, we know we're not talking about all white people, but we know what we're talking about, right? But again, the white girls that get it. Like, I know white women who understand and agree. You feel me? So yes. All right, let's see. Hold on. The Unpacked Backpacker, Alicia Renese, the artist, to Truth Eternal's point, if some other race were to say that about black person because they had one bad interaction, would that be okay? This is the thing. It's not one bad interaction. We live within a white supremacist paradigm. It's all around us. It's global. It's not just one interaction. It's not one. And a lot of prejudice that people have are usually seen in media towards black people, other people, like, But no, it's something personal. It's something personal that's pervasive. You know what I'm saying? Like throughout the world. People are under subjection. People are asking for their things back from their museums. People are asking for reparations for what they stole, their resources. It's more complicated than that. It's more complicated than that, and the power difference is different. I have a lot of thoughts. The power is different. I don't have the power that a white man has in this context, in this country. Like, I think I'm powerful, right? But it's in systemic, and exactly. Thank you, Faye. It's systemic. Period. White supremacy is systemic. Anti-blackness is global. It's not the same. It's not the same, and we cannot pretend that it's the same, and that's harmful. To say that, oh, this is just like a white person, and I'm getting passionate. My passion is not necessarily to you. It's just to this thought. Because I think that black people have been told for a long time to take stuff that they should not have taken because they don't want to be seen as a bad person or racist or prejudiced. And that's not what this is. To call it just simply prejudice is to erase the harmful history that white people have played a part in globally. We're talking this, like, black folks are talking it, like, and I'm talking African, like the diaspora, like everywhere are talking about it. Asians are talking about it. And I mean that, like, the diaspora everywhere, right? Like, everyone's talking about it. Indigenous folks are talking about it everywhere. It's the same issue. A lot of the same issues. And obviously, this is not to say that we're all a monolith, because we're not. We all have different things that, we have different things to focus on and different experiences. But there's one common denominator with a lot of these places. It's white men. So we all can't be lying. But but black people are always told to be quiet and hold their tongue talking about white people. Why is that? Why is that? Why should I be ashamed of something they did? That's not my shame. I'm not ashamed to say it. I don't trust white people. I said it. I don't. Generally, until you show me that you are anti-racist, meaning you're doing the work, not just like, oh, I like black people. That's not what I'm saying. Are you doing the work? If you're not, I don't trust you. Because you vibe with me until we clash and disagree, and now I'm all types of prejudices and all this other stuff. No, you don't get to use me to coddle yourself and to stroke your own ego. Absolutely not. Absolutely. I'm gonna let you know off rip. No. And the way that I test this is by talking about my lived experiences. And if I have to manipulate myself, fold myself, cut off pieces of myself to make you feel comfortable, not doing it. Not doing it. Because I don't get to tuck and hide my blackness. When you see me walking down the street, you see a black woman. You might have questions about my appearance or whatever, but you know that I'm a black woman, period. I don't get to hide that. So why should I have to hide myself for you? For your comfort? Absolutely not. That is oppression. If you can't honor all of my experiences, if you can't honor all of me, I don't need to be in community with you because you're dangerous. Absolutely not. No. So yes, like I feel passionate about this thing. My blackness is not, that's another thing I need to write down. My blackness is not a trend. It's not something I take off. It's not a part of me, right? Like, I think my blackness is a part of me, right? But it also makes me, as in like my experiences. Like, I don't get to take off my black at the end of the day. My black is with me. My black is more than just how I look. It is my experiences, my ancestors' experiences, and I'll be daggone if I have to throw away my ancestors' experiences to make you feel good about yourself. Absolutely not. They had to do that for so many years. I'm not doing that no more. You get with it or not. You can unfollow. You can like dislike the video. You can unsubscribe. Whatever you need to do to protect your peace, because I'm not going to stop talking about it. I don't get to stop talking about it. I'm literally a product of it. I'm on this land because of it. I'm on this continent because of it. Like, I'm not supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying? Technically. Maybe like later on, if enslavement never happened, or the slave trade never happened, maybe we would be, traveling because we want to, as opposed to because we have to. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I do think instead of just trusting white people off jump, it should be case by case. What King said? What King said, right. Content of character. Oh, Martin Luther King. You don't want to go with me with Martin Luther King. I'm sorry. Because a lot of people like to make Martin Luther King this docile punk of a black man, and that he was not. He was a little sketchy in his private life. That's another conversation for another day, and that's beside the point. But people like to bring up Martin Luther King when they're trying to silence other black people. Your leader said this, so you have to follow. First of all, I don't have to follow everything a black man says. That's the first thing, right? I can push back and question their theories and their understandings. And people did in real time. Black people tried to harm this man. I can't say what I want to say. Unalive this man because he was pushing for progress. He always had opposition. People always opposed what he said, right? But also, let's get into how he wasn't unalived until he started talking about money. Until he started talking about money. People want to use Martin Luther King like, because you obviously don't read about him. You don't watch the interviews. You don't read the letters that he wrote. Because even he questioned himself and his theories and his ideas and understanding of things. At the end of his life, he was on something totally different. You talk about content of character. What kind of character tells people to silence themselves, to make themselves comfortable? Is that a person of character to you? Or of good character, I should say. It's character. But is that good character? No. King is not a catch-all. It's not a blanket to, oh, gotcha there, gotcha. Martin Luther King said, no, in general, especially if you're talking about that time, it's not a good example. You're talking about, you're talking about a time that we can't even imagine. People are being hosed down, and the stuff still happens. Hung from trees, hunted, dragged behind cars. Like, they had whole parties in celebration of the loss of a black person's life. Whole gatherings, postcards sent. An oppressive system that we had to live under. But you want to bring up Martin Luther King as like, oh, almost like everything's fine. He said everything's fine. One, we're not a monolith. Everybody don't agree with Martin Luther King. That's the first thing, right? But like, what kind of character is that? That you're uncomfortable because of the truth of your ancestors. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people who I don't know who you are, where you're from, but I'm just saying in general. I have other thoughts, and I'm trying. I really am. LOL, she didn't say give sympathy. She said do the work. Yeah. Yes. Let me come down. King had faults for sure, but totally agree. But didn't he have a point? Sure. But he was talking about black folks, right? Black folks, other folks. White people off rip already have clout that black folks don't have, or Asian folks don't have, especially depending on what kind of Asian. Are you South Asian? That's a whole different experience, right? Like, we judge, like, that's crazy. I'm judging white folks on their history, not on the color of their skin, on their history, their access. You have to be honest that their skin color, the way that they present, gives them access that other people don't get. Even within, let's talk blackness, right? Because colorism exists, featureism exists because of white supremacy, right? This idea of white supremacy. I like when Erica De Niro said, like, I forget the word, oh my God, the phrasing that she used, but she basically said, like, the idea of white supremacy or something. Anyway, I love that because it's still saying that, like, white is supreme, and it's not. But the closer that you fall, on that gradient towards whiteness, the more access and benefits you have. And that even happened within the black community. The paper bag test, right? The blue vein societies, the boule, like all these different things. Again, taking inspiration from whiteness, from white culture, from oppression. I don't know. Thank you. Okay, Invincible Summer, hit me up about MLK later. I have perspective. Okay, I want to hear your perspective. I do. Yes. MLK is not the all-powerful black monarch. People get to have their own opinions. Yes. And that's why I'm careful. I don't want to talk down on our ancestors and our leaders, right? Um, because yes, they did the work, they were brave, but there were some problematic things with a lot of them. I mean, they're human, they're fallible, right? Like they're human, they're able to make mistakes. They're not God. And I think what happens in this instance is that people use MLK as like words from God. And no, this man had his own interests too. A lot of people didn't like him because he was playing the fence, right? It was like, oh, I'm gonna let's all just come together, and people were like, we don't want to be with them. Like we don't want nothing to do with them, right? But then like you want peace, you want like there were so many, and then also like he's coming from a Christian context, and not everybody is Christian. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is why a lot of people think that Christians should be punks, because we're like, just turn the other cheek. Just, sit in the diner and let them put cigarettes into your skin and throw hot coffee in your face. And this is not shade to the ancestors who did that, because shout out to y'all. They made it possible for us to do the thing. We needed freedom riders, right? But we also needed the Black Panther Party. We also needed like, there's so many different parts of Black culture that people don't talk about. And that tells me a lot of things. It tells me a lot. Because usually when people are bringing up MLK, it's to make their point and to make themselves feel better about themselves. And I don't like that. I don't like that. Because again, did you read the letters? That's the question. Did you read his letters? His own criticism of himself and his movement? I'm not forcing a belief. I'm just giving a fact. It's not a fact, though. That's not you would have to ask MLK himself what he meant by that. I'm not MLK. I don't know all the way. But I also know that he's talking about Black folks and other folks, like, not the white folks. He had a dream of us all coming together. But the thing is, we were down here in their eyes, and they're here. And so you see a Black person, you judge a Black person because they look Black. And so now, like, oh, I'm judging you because you're Black, not because of the content of your character. That's the idea. Uh-oh. People understand having compassion for the descendants of the Auschwitz camps, but tell Black people that our passed down trauma, which lasted centuries, is made up. 1,000%. And also honoring, shout out to the Jewish folks, like honoring them and their pain and their sorrow and their suffering. That was awful. That was disgusting. Black people don't get a chance to talk about their pain and, oh, you're woke. You're just mad. You're just a complainer. Yeah. Okay, let me get back to my points. Okay, so let's get back to the topic at hand. The unpacked backpacker. I hear you. I just disagree. Yes, there are things to take from both people, but what you're taking from it, I don't take from that. And so we're just not going to agree. Like, I appreciate you having this conversation, but it's starting to feel very manipulative to me, and I don't like that. I'm not calling you a manipulator. It just feels very, like, you have an agenda, obviously. You're not really open to hearing what I'm saying and, like, the possibility, because I've heard what you said all my life. I've heard this in my Black history classes, the couple of days we had it during the month of February. But this is the thing. No. That's wrong. I think your thought process is wrong. And it's no love lost. I just disagree. Very much. MLK is used to keep the Blacks docile. Very much. Well, your leader, he marched and didn't fight back. Oh, well, guess what? There are leaders who would actually unalive people for putting their hands on them. And I'm for it. Because I'm not your property. That's self-defense. Anywho. Okay. Jenny says, let's just be honest. We live in a white supremacist capitalistic patriarchy. No other way to go around it. That's it. It's that simple. Like, it's not that deep. I mean, it is deep, but it's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's not personal. It's just very serious. That's a fact. You want to talk about facts? That's a fact. Okay. All right. Uh-oh. Y'all saying some interesting things in the comment section. Y'all funny. Excuse me. I've heard the same from mine also, and I think yours is wrong too, and I think I would take time to unpack and have space for that. What context are you coming from to unpack? Are you a Black person? Are you a man? Are you a woman? Are you what are you? Because that, no offense, this channel is like centering Black folks, Black women specifically, and if this is not the place for you, that's also okay. It's okay. All right. Oh, okay. Yes, thank you. If you like the video, please support by liking the button if you're enjoying the stream. And yes, it does matter. And if you think like this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Like the idea, and yes, thank you, Yvonne. I'm gonna ignore after this because you're derailing and distracting, and I don't like that. You're derailing the whole conversation. Like I said, I don't get to divorce my blackness from myself. I don't get to divorce my womanhood from myself. This is my lived experience. And me being a black woman gives context to my lived experience. That's like people saying I don't see color. It's problematic for me. Nothing is wrong with different color. Nothing is wrong with different culture. Nothing is wrong with different experiences. We can honor all of those. When you say you don't see color, you're making it easy for yourself. You're being lazy. You don't want to know cultural context. You don't want to know historical facts. You don't want to know how those historical facts plays a part in today. You don't want to know. So why are you even conversing with me? Relax. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anywho, moving on. Okay, so like I said, talking about scarcity and abundance mindset. like I love being a black woman, but I know that my experience as a black woman is my experience because of how I present in the world, how I sound. I mean, even that, the privilege of the way that the privilege, excuse me, of code switching affects my life. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Like, we're not going to pretend that the way that we present doesn't affect us, doesn't affect the access we're given, doesn't affect the inherited trauma that we have in our bodies, our health, the health disparities. Please stop. It's harmful. It's harmful. It's harmful for you to say all that stuff doesn't matter. It does. And if it doesn't matter, you're coming from a place of privilege. And that tells me everything I need to know. Either you're a person of privilege or you are callous and uncaring and unthoughtful. And that's problematic too. That you can't think outside of yourself. You can't think beyond your own experience. There are black women with different experiences than me. Like, even as a person, even though I present black, dark-skinned black women have a different experience than I do. It's a fact. It's unfortunate. It's a fact. And so for me to pretend we're just black, it doesn't matter. That would be harmful to them. That's silencing them. No, their experience is different. And the way they present matters. Unfortunately, because we live under a white supremacist patriarchy. We didn't make the rules, honey. We're just trying to survive. These rules are trash. Okay. Anyway, here we go. Thank you, Sheree Nicole. I appreciate that. It's all gone. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so like I said, scarcity and abundant mindset. Sometimes it truly is manufactured scarcity. At the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, like, we can talk about abundance and like wealth and like meditation and like, I don't know, what do other people talk about in the wealth community? Wealth in general, but we can't ignore the fact that we live in a system that is manufactured, right? And that benefits off of scarcity. Capitalism benefits off of scarcity, right? Like, a lot of the systems need other people to suffer so that it thrives and survives. And again, that's that phrase like, oh, you're experiencing trauma because you have a scarcity mindset or a victim mentality, right? That's another thing that people say. It's harmful and victim blaming. That's like telling a person, oh, this is another thing that I hate when people say. And this is another list on my unpopular opinions, right? When people say like, you attract who you are, you experience that because that's who you are, you have some lesson to learn. No, if you are a light, right? If you're a light, you're going to attract everything. If you're a good person, you will attract everything. Like, I'm thinking about bugs, right? Like, when you turn on a light outside and like all the bugs are attracted to it, right? All the good things. All the good things and the bad things, the wasps. I don't know. I don't want to say wasps are bad. I just don't like them. but like the wasps, right? Like, you attract all the things. The light's on, you might attract people, right? You might attract people who are well-wishing, but also harmful. It's victim blaming. It's things that we say that are that absolve us of any responsibility of the part that we play in it. It also, again, helps us to rationalize awful things, right? Like, rationalize awful things happening to awful people. No, some people are just awful. Some people are just bad. Some people make bad decisions. Some people are mean. Some people are selfish. This idea of like, oh, you attract what you are. again, it's harmful because no, it's lazy. It's a lazy, that's the word I'm looking for. It's a lazy thing to say. It's a lazy thing to say to somebody. The law of attraction, that's a lie from the pit. See, and this is the thing, like, I get it, right? And I feel like a lot of, and I don't know what my thoughts are about that specifically, but I do think a lot of that speech is harmful. I do think there is something to changing your tune, to changing your outlook on life. And again, like I said, being resourceful, right? These things that a lot of poor folks, a lot of other folks are used to doing. But I also, like you, I have problems with the law of attraction because it's a very like, I create the world that I want, right? And I get that in theory, but I also think that it can be it can it can be like, I'm going to ignore the systems that exist that keep me harmed and oppressed. And so I'm not going to do the work to either point that out or undo the system. I'm just going to, like, whatever, it's fine because it's good for me. But if it's good for you and not good for everybody else, is that really abundance? That's something I've been wrestling with. Like, why haven't we law of attraction to ourselves? Why have not we law of attraction ourselves out of oppression, out of people starving, out of poverty? Like, it can't just be mindset. It can't just be mindset. You know what I mean? Okay, anyway. So yes, to say that you have a scarcity mindset is also victim blaming. And again, it's yes and, because sure, if you are looking down all day and looking at all the things you don't have, yes, like, and do I really believe that we have everything we need to survive and thrive? Yes, right? But I also believe that there are people and systems on the side hoarding things so that you don't have the resources to do what you know that you want to do in your heart. So, for example, maybe I want to give to people, right? I want to be able to give, and I do. I want to be able just to give people money, just like whatever, especially for creative folks. Here's some money for your project. Here's some time for you to tuck away and create stuff. That's what I really want to do, right? And if poverty didn't exist, if everybody was abundant and it's in their idea of what abundance looks like and is, I would have millions of dollars and be able to give millions of dollars to people. I'd be able to open my home to people. I'd be able to have a home to open to, right? Like, that's what that would look like. But even with the limited resources I have, I'm still giving what I can. So, like, the means to do what I want to do is there. It's just less than what it could be, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm also open to contradicting myself. This is something I've also wrestled with. Like, but I also feel like I'm a complex person. I can have multiple thoughts at the same time. You know what I mean? I can think one day today and then tomorrow I'll think another way. So I'm trying to have grace with myself because I know that I have talked about abundance and I still do believe that. But I also think it would be silly of me and harmful of me not to also mention the systems which we live under, which we talk about abundance and wealth and who gets to be abundant and who gets to be wealthy in the way that they understand abundance and wealth, if that makes sense. Okay. Oh my gosh. Hello. Gina says, I don't think we're even at the top, at the line at this point. Student loans and Fannie Mae killed our, Sally Mae killed our futures before we even got started. Yes. At 17, 18, 16 years old, here, sign at the dotted line and your future is secure. And then you graduate and you realize, oh shoot, I actually can't do, the first time I tried to buy like a new car, it wasn't new, it was used. A nice car for myself because I kept buying beaters and they kept breaking down. And that gets expensive and depressing over time. So I was like, let me get a newer car. So I went to go buy a car and they were like, oh, your credit score, there are some things on your credit score. I'm like, I don't even have credit cards. Like, I literally don't have any credit. I haven't done any of that. I don't have any like consumer credit or whatever. And then they say, oh, well, we see these loans taken out from Sally Mae. And I'm like, what does Sally Mae have to do with my student loans? I had no idea. But like, yes, like these things are set in place so that I couldn't get the car that I wanted. I couldn't get the rate that I wanted either because of the Sally Mae stuff. So yes, it's a whole thing. It's awful here. It's awful here. Hi, Marissa. It's good to see you. Hi, Deshaun Burns. It's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Hi, not that Vashti. Yes, it's distasteful when people say you attract what you are. It's not true at all. I hate when people say that. And people say it like it's a fact. Because you attract who you are. Who said? You attract lessons you need to learn. Who said? I don't need to keep learning the same lesson over and over and over again. That's silly. And there's been times like I told God, like, I've already learned this lesson. What is it? And maybe the lesson really is that some people are awful. Maybe the lesson really is that it's not you, it's them. That it's them. You've done nothing. It almost makes it seem like you deserve to experience this harm. You deserve to experience this pain. Like and we like to, and I think again black folks specifically, but I'm sure poor people, like, you take awful things and you make the best out of it, right? Like, people are struggling to pay rent. Let's have a rent party. Let's make it joyful. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's have a potluck because we're all struggling with food right now. Like, we're used to doing that, taking scraps and making good things, but that's not like the best situation to be in. And so, like, I think that we say like, oh well, this came to learn. We try to metabolize everything into something good. Like, oh well, this is gonna be my testimony, and this is gonna make me stronger and better. And I think all that is true, but I also think that some of the harm is just unnecessary. Because I'd be like, God, I'm strong enough, please. I'm so tired. I'm tired. There are a lot of metaphysical, spiritually toxic people who think burning sage helps when they have a nasty attitude and personality. And so and even in the Christian community, because y'all not absolved either, okay? Y'all are not, because in the same breath that we're praising God, we're worshiping God. Oh, I'm speaking in tongues. I'm on the floor, laying down, rolling around. You go outside and cut somebody out in the parking lot because you think you better than them, right? Like, you mean, like, it's this over spiritualization, I think, of some things make it very convenient for people to be awful people. It does. It makes it very convenient because there are no repercussions. There is no what's the word I'm looking for? Accountability. There is no accountability. There is none under this like super spiritual context. Everything comes to teach me a lesson. Turn the other cheek. Like, and that's what we talked about MLK before. Like, it's that same Christian rhetoric inspired a lot of those movements. And though I'm grateful for those movements and I'm happy, I wish there was a way that they could have fought for what they needed to and still had their dignity about them. And I'm not saying that they weren't dignified. I'm saying I don't think it should cost you having cigarettes burned into your skin to become free, to be able to sit at a counter at a restaurant. And that's why I said there are a lot of people who push back on these movements, because a lot of people feel like, why didn't y'all just build your own store, right? And obviously it's not that simple. We know that, right? But like this, there are other thoughts that we have. Like, let's not play into the system at all. Let's create our own. There are people who theorize other things who will not be upheld, as the person, because it goes against what this country, specifically the West, what their idea of what we should be doing looks like. You know what I'm saying? So yes, and I agree. And I think that's why a lot of people push back on MLK specifically, because, and resonated with Malcolm X, for example, right? People often think Malcolm X is the opposite of MLK, but towards the end of both of their lives, they both kind of came together. Like, there was this like connection. Me and my husband talk about that all the time, how like it seemed like MLK was here and Malcolm X was here, and they were critics of each other. And then towards the end of their lives, they came together like, hold up, maybe we're both wrong a little bit. You know what I mean? And I would have loved to see, if their lives weren't cut short, I would have loved to see how if they would have came together, how they would work through things together, what their new dream might have looked like. I feel like they were both cut short before their dreams could even materialize into something else, something more. Like, they were still yearning for something more. So yes. Anyway. Yes, and because I've been around the super rich folks that say stuff like that to poors, only they don't believe these phrases they say to them because the poor's hoping for better. Exactly, it's twisted out here. It is, and it makes me, it makes me scared to do the things that I want to do in the world, right? Like, I have courses and stuff that I want to put on or whatever, and I know people are struggling, and so I try to make it like accessible for people, and I try to have like a sliding scale where people can pay what they can for certain stuff, because it's like I don't want to get rich off of, I have complicated thoughts, y'all, so work with me here. But I don't want to get rich off of selling people a dream. I think that's harmful. I want to do the work of helping people bring their dreams to life, right? But I want them to thrive at the end of it. Like, I want them to become wealthy so they can, one, take care of themselves and their families well, and also like take that work and impact the world and change the world. And I know I need resources to do that, right? So I don't even want to be charging stuff because I know people be struggling, but I know my heart is to serve people and not just leave them out there. I think that some people, and y'all know who I'm talking about, some people make money by selling a dream to people without even having done the work, without even having put effort into it, really. I'm gonna stop there because I feel like that's very frustrating for me. That's not ethical to me. And a lot of these wealthy, like rich, spiritual people are making money, one, from spiritual stuff that they stole. That's not theirs. Ideas that they stole, and then also like selling a dream to people without even checking themselves for participating in an oppressive system in the first place. Right? Okay. Anywho, let me come down. Let me come down. Yes, exactly. Marissa says, yes, it is both and. The earth is abundant and scarcity is manufactured to control those abundant resources. And that's exactly it. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Hi, Villainous Crone. Religion of all kinds are designed to keep people from questioning the powers that be. They twist a lot of doctrine to benefit their agenda and weaponize it against poor people. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Christianity included, right? And that's when people say like, oh, are you a Christian? I'd be like, what do you mean? What's the context? Because do I believe in God? Yes. Do I believe in Jesus? Yes. Do I believe in the Christianity that they're touting and claiming here? Absolutely not. Completely something different. Completely something completely different, excuse me. Hi, LV. Hello, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. Hi, Epic Studies. Let's see. Come down. That's my come down, scrolling down song. Hi, Miss Lorraine. It's good to see you. Hi, Alicia. It's a system of the haves and have-nots. Yes. I grew up with fish fries and rent parties. Yep. The system of greed is indeed set into the system to strip us of the ability to live. Giving whatever you can afford to is just as important as a person, thank you for that, who gives $1 million, Miss Lorraine. Thank you, Miss Lorraine, and thank you for that. And I agree. It does a lot of good to give. Sometimes I weep because I want to do more. Like, it makes me so, like, I'd be like, God, just give me $1 billion. Like, I'll fix the problems. You know what I mean? But yes, but it's good to remember that even what little you have to give, it's still something. It's still something, and it still counts, and it still matters. So yes, thank you for that, Miss Lorraine. Thank you. It's good to see you. Fair. Back to the Neutral says, on the cigarettes being burned versus building a store, although I don't agree with it, it showed America's ugliness. Absolutely, 100%. I think it, one thing I'm grateful for those things is the time that it was done in, because we know that stuff was happening before those moments. But because we had now film and TVs and, what do you call it? I guess like film too, like camcorder, like cameras like that can record film, we were able to see in real time what we knew was happening in private that never got justice, that never got seen, right? So we can reflect on those pictures. I'm grateful for that stuff, but I also wish that it didn't have to be that way. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for it, but I wish it didn't have to be that way. I wish America wasn't ugly. That's my point. Like, I wish America wasn't that ugly. So yes, I agree with you. Being religious doesn't automatically make you a moral person. Yeah, I agree. Caring about the humanity in others does. Exactly. Agreed. Hi, Simone Bailey Campbell. Welcome. Faye says, social media guru selling ebooks and 10K trips. And that's and on one hand, I'm like, yes, right? Like abundance, thriving. And on the other hand, I'm like, do you really believe what you're selling, or is this just trendy for you? Is this just a trend for you? And I have to check myself. Let me be clear. I have to check myself as an entrepreneur. Am I doing what's in my heart to do? Am I doing what I feel like God is telling me to do? Or am I doing what I think is trendy and what's going to work? And even that for me feels like manipulation, and it feels unethical because it's not me. It's not real. It's not honest. And so I try to check in with myself. What do I feel called to do right now? And sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's be with my family. Sometimes it's give from what I have in my pockets, right? Like, because they know people are desperate. That's the thing. They know people are desperate for change, for difference. They want to love themselves. They want to love each other. They want to be enough, right? They want to know the truth. And like, I think that some people are making money off of that. Unfortunately, I think some people are abusing that. Some people are using that to line their pockets. And again, when I see, sadly, a lot of like white women, specifically like wellness people, and not all of them, because some of them look dope and they look legit, but if they don't address their own benefits and their own prejudices, if you can admit to me that you don't have prejudices, if you can admit to me that like you have benefited from a system, I really don't trust you with my spirit, right? Does that make sense? Like if you can't be honest about what you can feel and see and taste and experience, then I can't trust you with my spirit. And this is the thing, and I'm only saying this on this side because I have paid thousands of dollars of money I did not have, thousands of dollars, paying the pockets of white women, seeking spiritual guidance or like this abundance they spoke of, seeking this like, and then I'm doing it. I'm like, why is this not working? Why isn't this working? Why is it working for you and not me? And I thought like maybe I'm doing something wrong. Is God punishing me? Am I not doing the right thing? And it's like I think God was saving me from operating within that system. Even though it would be nice to be a millionaire. It would be nice to have access to this stuff. And because I know what I would do with it, I would give it to my family, my friends, creatives, right? Black women creatives. Like I know what I would do with that wealth, but I also think that God didn't want me to get caught up and tied up, tied up in, I'm looking at this question is funny, but to get tied up in the white healing space where I would always feel at war with myself, that I was wrong, that I needed to strip away certain things about me that make me me, to fit this idea of what spirituality should look like and taste like and feel like from people who are really just taking from other people. Like they're taking from other people's cultures and their own beliefs and stuff like that. Like, wouldn't it be better just to go to the source? I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts, but yes. I was laughing at this comment. Who's out here taking these 10K trips? Listen, if I had it, I might. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be honest. If I had it, I might, especially back then, like looking for like, the 10K trips, like, because I was so desperate for relief. I was so desperate for like my husband will tell you every other month I was signing up for a course, a program, a workshop, because I really was hungry. I was hungry. Hi, Jelly. Let's be clear. I never did the 10K trips. Let me just say, I ain't got money like that. I never did the 10K trips, but it was expensive for me. It was expensive for me. And so for some people, 10K is not a lot. That's a lot for me. So sorry. That's a lot for me. Chica, that's how I feel with Barbie movie. Yeah, too white woman centric for my spirit. Okay, I have a lot of thoughts on Barbie movie. Maybe we can do a live about it and talk about it because it was cute. It was cute, but it was lacking a lot of things for me. And I think from seeing other people talking and writing and giving words to what I feel, I'm like, that's it. That's exactly what it is. But yes, we should talk about Barbie. Cause yes. LV, the nurse at my job when they get burnt out on overtime. True. True. Listen, they got it. But yes, let me answer your question. Jelly, I hope I'm saying this right. Jelly with the Hanafuda earrings. Really, I'm curious, why did you pay someone who didn't like you? Because I was desperate, and I also didn't see people who looked like me. It was when I first started getting into the wellness space, I guess. Wellness space, what does that even mean? When I started getting into like the wellness space, there were a lot of white women who let's be real, who had the money to pay ads on Facebook, and they were always in your face. Like, they are the default, right? They are the default. And so sadly, like with advertising and all this other stuff, white women, Target is made for white stay-at-home moms. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the stuff, like they're catering to the women. And so women were talking about the stuff that I felt, and that I was like, yes, I resonate with that. I want this, right? Like, and because of my desperation, I think I was chasing after white women who obviously didn't have the answers. And I felt, I'm sure it's programming also, right? Programming, I'm sorry, my thoughts are all over the place. But programming in this world, like, oh, white women have the answers. White people are the default, so whatever. Maybe there was a level of that. I wasn't thinking about that in real time, but maybe that has something to do with it. Like, this person is trustworthy, right? But I didn't see a lot of black women in the same space. I didn't see them, and not in the way that I wanted to see them either, like, that I needed to see. Now, I feel like I'm seeing them everywhere, and I love this for me, right? I love this for me, but I'm talking about, this was about 5-6 years ago, maybe? How old am I? Yeah, like 5-6 years ago. So I was just getting started. I didn't know where to start. So yeah, send love to that Alicia. The self-development train, exactly, the books. Oh my gosh, I talked about this. Like, I think it might have been last week, how I have a whole bookshelf full of self-help books because I needed permission to feel how I felt and to put words to how I was feeling, right? Excuse me. So yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so y'all got to see Barbie. We got to come back and talk about it because I have thoughts. Okay, no worries. We won't talk about it yet. I'll wait. I'll wait. Let's see. Listen, I'm saying that as a fellow Target lover. I love Target, okay? Target is one of my favorite places to be. But when I was working there, they had like this whole like the spiel that they give you, like the history of the store or whatever. But yes, it is designed for stay-at-home white women, stay-at-home white millennial women. Oh, it's all good. No worries, no worries. But yeah, stay-at-home millennial women. Now millennial, but yeah, the whole setup of the store. You walk in, and I'm sure some Targets are different, but you walk in, it's the woman stuff. The men are back in a corner somewhere. Nobody cares about them. You then in between you have the shoes. You have the clothes for the kids, the nighttime wear, all that stuff. You walk the electronic aisle. Even the books they have, the books are catered towards women, right? Like the authors there are a lot of white women, authors. Then you have like the home stuff, the travel stuff. Then you have the grocery store when you turn the other corner, the grocery store stuff, the home decor in the middle. Then you have the stuff that you need for the home, right? Like the medicine, the vitamins, all that stuff. Exactly. It's white women aesthetics. It just is. You know what I'm saying? But I love Target. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I love Target. Target was my childhood plug for Ken. Okay, you fancy. Because Walmart was mine. Or the dollar store. But yes. They do. Faye says Target has the good hair products, black owned. It's true. And where I am, it's not locked up behind, no offense to Walmart. They be locking up stuff, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Anywho. But yes. Grow Your Melanin says, we as African Native Americans have been practicing spirituality, and they called it hoodoo and demonized us for it. Yes. I have thoughts. Whatever white colonizers deemed as different other than them, because they saw themselves as the standard, whatever they saw was different than them, they demonized the clothes they wear, the way they wore their hair, the way they spoke, how they shared all their resources. They thought that sharing all their resources with each other was barbaric. That's crazy. Choglit vibes, hello. Excuse me. Do you think America should... Uh-oh. Not us getting a phone call. Do you think... Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna keep talking. But anyway, do you think America should have stayed segregated? Black people tried to create their own Black Wall Street, and they burned that down. I think America... Well, let's go back. I don't think America should be what it is now. I think white folks should have left it alone. You know what I mean? Like there's no like ideal... I don't know. There's no ideal way to make America great again. I don't know. Make America great, period. Because it never was great. But like, I don't think that that the colonizers, not we, but the colonizers should not have even come here in the first place. I think that Black folks should have been left alone in their places, wherever they were. But I don't think, unfortunately, we have to gut the whole system. We got to start all over. You know what I mean? So yeah. But I know what you're asking me though. In terms of, if I wasn't thinking like that, do I think America should have stayed segregated? No, because their segregation means oppression, right? Should America have left Black people alone and let them do their own things? Yes. But no, their segregation meant that somebody had to suffer. Hope that makes sense. But yeah. Okay. Oh, no worries. Thanks for asking. Thank you for asking. Because that's actually a very good question. Like, how did they even get in white women's healing spaces? That's wild. But yes. Deshaun, please don't do this. My ancestors won't let me pay to go see Barbie. I gotta wait for the bootleg, please. Oh man, that's funny. But I understand. I get it. Okay, let me come down. Ooh, uh-oh. Cleona Divine, hello. A lot of Black-owned hair products are no longer Black-owned. Yeah, unfortunately. And that's the thing. It's like, I want them to get their money, but I need y'all to like head the products. Why can't they just get a grant, right? Because that wouldn't be business in their mind. But yeah, yes. Let's see. All right. Speaking of demonizing, that's been happening a lot lately with autistic and ADHD folks, especially in the church. Yeah, it's harmful. It's a lot of harmful stuff like that. Like when I learned when I was studying deaf culture and deaf history, when I was getting my degree at my college at Towson, we were learning about obviously like oppression and how that showed up even amongst deaf folks, and then even within the deaf community, there's a black deaf community, so they were even being oppressed within the deaf community. It's a whole thing. But like there, a lot of them have trauma, especially from the church, because they would try to pray the deaf off of them. The deaf, DEAF, capital DEAF, and I say capital DEAF because it's its own culture. It's like the black, the capital B in black. So within the deaf community, like there's a lot of trauma that a lot of them have experienced with the church, because they're like, oh, you're possessed, that's why you can't hear, right? Like to say like, oh, there's something wrong with you, let me pray it away, let me, get the spirit out of you and all this other stuff. So yes, I agree. It's harmful. Oh my gosh, Truth Eternal. Alicia, you've become what you were looking for. I love that. That is like the best compliment that you could give me. It really is. I appreciate that. And it really, I think, like literally when somebody asked me like, what is your goal? And that is one of my goals, like to be the person I needed. To be the person I needed. Hi, Tasha Washington. Thank you so much for the like on Facebook. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so the next note that I wrote. We getting through this, y'all. Sorry. Black women, speaking as a black woman, black folks have created their own abundance. Right? Again, like I said, they gave us scraps. They gave black folks scraps. And what do? We make a meal. We're good at that. We're good at being abundant within the resources allocated and given to us, right? But yes, we need more. We need more. We need more. And it is an oppressive system that we live under. Hi, Sarabi Makita. Yes, my daughter is deafblind. Yes. It's just how she was born. It's not a spirit. Yes, exactly. Thank you for sharing that too. And I also wrote down, these are just notes that I have in my journal. My notes app on my phone. I told you I'm trying to get through these notes app, but I said poor people or people experiencing poverty create their own abundance from scratch. And it's really the lack of resources, right? Like we're used to being resourceful. People who are experiencing poverty or like low income, however you want to call it, people who have limited resources, limited access, we create our own abundance. We redefine what abundance looks like for ourselves, even under an oppressive system. We're the queens and kings of sharing. We share everything, especially black women. That's statistic. That's the statistics. Black women are the most generous women. Period. Like we give without thinking about it, whether it's time, resources, money, opportunity, right? We give everything we have, even if what we have is limited. We are abundant. So it's gaslighting and redundant to be like, oh, it's gaslighting. It's harmful to be like, I just need to think more positively. I need to attract more wealth towards me. Like it's something wrong with me that I'm experiencing lack. And it's like, no, like I'm all these things that they're listing. I'm like, I'm doing all this though. If this is the recipe for wealth, what's wrong? Why doesn't mine taste like yours? Because we're not really talking about the real issues. The issues that don't seem so spiritual, even though there's a spirit behind why you feel like you have to take from other people, why you feel like you have to oppress other people to feel good about yourself, why you have to steal resources and ideas and silence folks and segregate them and put them in their own, like in red line, and steal land and kill the animals and burn down cornfields and all the awful things that these people did. That's a spirit too. That's spiritual too. I said it's especially harmful coming from white healing community. It's tone deaf. That's the word. That's the phrase I was looking for. It's tone deaf. It's tone deaf for you to tell me, a black woman, a white woman, to tell me like the reason why you don't have is because you're not thinking hard enough. You're not being grateful enough. You're not being resourceful enough. You're not looking at the bright side of things. I don't have no other choice but to do that. I don't have no other choice but to look at the bright side. Like, and it makes me think about like black joy. I love, first of all, black joy is everything. But also there's also like a sorrow to it. Like we make jokes at the most inopportune times to deal with the trauma that we experience. Even we joke and laugh about the chair thing and people want to talk down on us or whatever, like about like how, oh, y'all are making jokes about someone getting hit with a chair And it's like, but you just don't get it. You just don't get it. That video is triggering. Seeing that man get beat up is triggering. You have made our pain and our suffering and sorrow entertainment for you. We have to metabolize that somehow, so we not out here losing our minds. We see ourselves in those people. So we make jokes. We make light of things, because Black joy is how we survive. We always joking and kidding, like, yes, and around, like, and it's almost like we're doing it in front of company, so to speak. And so the people who don't get it, right? Like, but it's like, no, we're used to making do with least. We are abundant. Y'all just selfish. We are abundant. We are abundant. Yes. It was triggering, and I'm so glad they stuck together and gave them the business. Yes. Yes. If you think whatever. I have other thoughts about that whole situation. I've been trying to keep my thoughts to myself, because sometimes I don't talk about the things that I want to talk about, because I don't want it to attract the wrong people here. And I want this to be a safe space for Black women specifically. And so I know that trolls be coming when you're talking about certain topics that are kind of like, national news and stuff like that. And I just don't, at this point, it's like international news. But it's just too, it's a lot of stuff. And maybe I'm just going to have to bite it and talk about it. But I don't want my channel to be triggering or harmful to other Black women either. Maybe that'll just be like private conversations or something. Because I have a lot of thoughts about a lot of things. But I just be like, no, I'm just talk to my friends or people who get it. But yes. So this idea, right, this whitewashing of like, oh, abundant mindset or whatever. And again, in their context, because yes, I do believe in abundant mindset, but not in their context, right? It erases the truth. It says that it erases the truth of oppression, of oppressive systems. It puts to the side the truth about certain things, right? About the system we live in. This whole conversation we're about to have, like, oh, Black people being, not trusting white people is the same as white people being racist towards Black people. That's not, like, stop it, right? Like, it erases the truth. It makes it convenient for the person talking about it. It makes it convenient for them to not have to talk about the issues that we deal with every single day, right? And so my thing is, my call to those people in those spaces is, if you're so abundant, give to those who lack. If you are so abundant, if you're so wealthy because of how you think, right? If you're so wealthy because of how you think and how you operate and how you move through life, what's stopping you from giving your resources to other people? What's stopping you from giving half of your funds to other people? Isn't being generous, isn't that one of the tenets of your abundance thing, to make you feel good about yourself? Why are you not giving away half of your resources? Right? Like, anywho, give away your money. If you see people lacking, you don't have to give them a book. You can give them some coin. You got dollars. When they talk about, like, oh, if you feed a man, what is it? If you feed a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. Do both. Do both. Do both. Okay. What I wrote down is, folks experiencing poverty are the most abundant people I know. People who have the least are the most abundant people I know. When I think of my grandmother and grandfather in Philly and how they had 9 kids. And then they would have family come in, like, my aunt Eunice, she has children. They would come over. She would come over. They would have friends of the family come over. And we're talking about people who were experiencing poverty, okay? They didn't have a lot, but they had a lot. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have a lot, but everybody ate, and there was always leftovers. People experiencing poverty and lack are the most abundant people I know, and I know from experience. There have been times when me and my friends have all been broke, but we all ate. Somebody didn't have the money. We're going to put it together and figure it out. We're going to collect money. Like Miss Lorraine was talking about. Somebody can't pay their rent. Let's have a rent party. Even with this sorrow, let's experience some joy, some pleasure. Let's dance to some music, right? Like, we're going to keep each other lifted. We're going to keep each other together. That's what I know about people who are experiencing poverty. Like, I know from experience, from seeing it and from personal experience. It's a fact. It's a fact. They're the most resourceful people I know. They're the most creative people I know. Okay? The most creative people I know. Like these skills that our parents and our elders develop, like sewing and like cooking and like making meals spread, right? By adding certain things in it. Like, yeah. Uh-oh. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Okay. So yes. So people experiencing poverty are the most abundant people I know. They share resources, information. They keep the money circulating in their own communities. Hold on. So yes, like I was saying, they're the most generous people I know. They're always giving something, even when they don't even have it. Sadly, when they don't even have it, they be given. And even if it can't be money, it's something. I'll give you a ride. I'll give you a meal. You can come over and stay on my couch. Like, whatever it is. Like, we know what it is. They keep the money circulating. We're gaslit into thinking we're the problem when it's not us. It never was us. Our thinking wasn't us. Like, even when we talk about, like, our experiences versus, like, just made up stuff. Like, just like, oh, you know, whatever. No, a lot of people have scarcity thinking because they've experienced scarcity, like we talked about. They know what scarcity feels like. It's not some made up thing. It's like, no, we know what it's like to be hungry. We know what it's like to not be able to buy the thing that we need. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know what it's like. We know what it's like. It's not some made up, oh, it's just in your mind. No. It's around us. It's around us. We see it. Like, the reason why a lot of us are working so hard because we're trying to escape it or not go back to it. That's what's really happening. Like, it's yes and, as Marissa was talking about. I also said a lot of us think in scarcity, like I said, okay. A lot of us think in scarcity because we have literally experienced lack and scarcity and insecurity. Even if you might have enough for today, you're still worried about tomorrow. And yes, like even in scripture, it talks about like, you know, don't worry about today. Tomorrow has enough issues of its own, you know, and I wrestled, and that thing is hard. Not worrying about the worries of tomorrow when you know tomorrow is coming, you know, Lord willing, tomorrow's coming, and you like, I only got $5. Again, I told y'all when we were stranded in Florida and didn't have nothing. Okay, tomorrow's coming. What we gonna eat tomorrow? Chicken nuggets again. We ain't die. We're here. You know, we had what we needed, obviously, like to survive. But like, no, it was not. It's still a scarce experience. It's still a scarce experience. So you get tired of chicken nuggets, okay? I said the abundant thing would be to address those issues. If we're really talking abundance and wellness and goodness, the good thing to do would be to talk about these issues and fix them. To talk about the issues and fix them. The folks talking abundance should truly be abundant and share the resources, information, and access. Abundance is more than you just receiving for yourself. Like, I don't see, if I'm thriving and all my people are struggling, I am not abundant. I'm selfish. That's how I feel. That's just my own personal thing. I'm selfish. I'm hoarding in some way, right? Like, I'm hoarding in some way. And obviously, like, no, it's not saying it's my fault, but like, there's no situation where I want to be the only one thriving within my group. I don't want to be that. I want all of us to make it and all of us to thrive. And not saying it's my responsibility to take care of everyone. But if my abundance comes at the loss of other people, and this is what I mean, right? For those classes that I wanted to take with those white women in those healing and wellness spaces, I would say, like, I really want to do this thing. I really want to do this program. And they would say things like, well, if you really wanted to do it, you would find the money to do it. And I would be like, dang, am I not being resourceful? Am I not doing, excuse me, gotta shift my weight. Am I not doing enough to get this money? Do I really want it? Is it really showing that I, like, this gaslighting, like manipulative thinking, like, oh, if you really wanted to be a part of it, you would find the money. They would say this stuff, this harmful stuff. Some people don't have $5,000 for your deposit today. People don't even know what they're going to eat. And I would really sit with that and feel so bad. Because I'm like, dang, I guess if I really wanted it, it would come to me. Like, if I really desired it enough, a way would be made. And then sometimes I would sign up for these things, and I'd be spending my last on these courses and these programs or whatever. And I would feel so guilty. Like, I would feel so guilty if I couldn't afford it, because I'm just like, oh, that means that there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me that I can't afford it. It's manipulative, and I hate that kind of advertising. Even when I sell stuff, I'll be like, either sometimes I'll be like, yeah, like I've literally put on programs where people sat there for free. You know what I mean? Because I know they want it. It's not an issue of like wanting to do it. It's an access issue. It's a wealth issue. It's a resource issue for a lot of people. Anyway, so I don't ever like that kind of like urgent, manipulative, twisting your arm. What is it called? Advertising. That idea, like if you really wanted freedom, you would find the money to do it. You know, like using spiritual language. Because I can't even think of what they would say, but like your energy would attract the money you need. Like using spiritual language to manipulate people out of their resources to fill their pockets, right? To fill their pockets so they get to live the high life. They get to live in security and abundance and wealth while you're struggling to eat because you're signing up for this program or this course or whatever it is because you want what they have. And I think that's another reason. That question you asked me, why did I sign up for that stuff? I think a part of it was like I wanted what they had. I wanted freedom. And if they're going to show, like, I'm thinking you already know what it is to do that. So like, show me your ways so I can be free like you. Or I could be healed like you. And then I realized I get into the thing and I'm like, you're actually really mean. You're actually really nasty. You actually manipulate people and make them feel like trash. You guilt people into paying you money. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't charge for their programs and courses. Yes, you should, right? You should. But like, don't be manipulating people. If people can't afford it, just be like, okay, I honor that. Or maybe if you want, that's not for everybody. Maybe you can have like a sliding scale or like pay what what can you afford, right? Working something like that. But it's Chica, just attract 10K to buy my, but for real, like I know that's a joke and it's funny, but it's true. It's true. And so I'm thinking like I'm a low vibrational person because I can't just attract $10,000. You know what I'm saying? But let me go back up. Hi, striding through doors. Thank you so much for your five. What's escaping me right now? Euros. Thank you. I think if I'm right. Thank you so much. Glad I was able to join today. I'm happy that you're here too. Although I'm in a different context, being Nigerian British, the space you've created has challenged and healed me. I'm happy for that. And I'm glad. And I would love to hear your experience too. Oh yes. Also, thank you so much for sharing this also. Thank you so much. I want to have a series, y'all, where we have conversations with each other. If y'all are willing to come up and converse. Like I really want to have a series where we ask each other questions. Like there's a prompt and we just start talking. I like that. I like having deep conversations with people, and I would love to do that. And again, only if you want to. You don't have to mic up or cam up if you don't want to. But I'm just offering that. Hi May. As a former foster youth, I recently attended a conference where a guest speaker said going from homeless to being housed is another responsibility to have. Hold on. Said going from homeless to being housed is another responsibility to have. Like on the person who's experiencing homelessness. Is that what they're saying? That's awful. Because no, it's the responsibility of the people who are housed, who are secure, to help those who are insecure. That's my philosophy. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. And hold on, grow your melanin, because I feel like you asked me a question. I'm so sorry. Hi, grow your melanin. Do you think Black women could build their own country? Ooh, do I think Black women could? Yes, I think it's possible. Trying to figure out where. That's a different question. But could we, and where that wouldn't oppress or harm other people, right? So could we build our own country? In theory, yes. I think we could. I think we got the goods. I think we have good bones. We got good structure. You know what I'm saying? Not with the body. I mean, that too. But you know what I mean? Like we have good, with looking at the stats, right? This idea of like Black women being the most generous women, starting the most businesses, that kind of thing. Also, like we do a lot of community work that we don't even count as community work. You taking care of your elders is community care. You know what I'm saying? Like you taking care of your homegirls is community care. Their kids, like that's us. So do I think we could? Absolutely. 1,000%. 1,000%. Yes, I think we could and should. Same. I'm just trying to figure out what that would look like, where that would be. That again, that's not harmful or displacing other people. Yeah, but yes, absolutely. 1,000%. Thank you for asking that question, by the way, grow your melanin. I saw you ask it later. I'm so sorry I missed it. But yes, thank you. Let me go down. Chica, I'm cracking up. Yes. Canby Sweets, 5 pounds. Oh, 5 pounds. Thank you. What did I say? I said euros. Thank you so much for that correction. Thank you. Thank you, striding through doors for the £5. I appreciate that. My American is showing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Black women could build a country until some start importing the men, then the sisterhood is dead. Yikes. It makes me sad because when I think about a lot of problems, I was having this conversation with my husband, like a lot of problems with like within the black woman community, is for like my black girls who are here. Within the black woman community, a lot of it is really about men. When I think of when I think of a lot of the problems that we have, it's really about men or being wanting to be wanted by men or fighting each other to get elevated in a system created by men. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's what it's feeling like to me. um, yeah, like when I think of like the issues that I've had with like other girlfriends that we're no longer friends anymore, like friend breakups, a lot of it is about men. A lot of it. And for me, like I don't consider myself a male identified woman. I consider myself like a womanist. I consider myself like a woman's woman. I love women. Like I love women. When I read oh my gosh, why can't I think of her name? The person who coined the term womanism. Coined The Color Purple. Come on, girl. Thank you, baby. Alice Walker. Thank you. When I think about Alice Walker's definition of womanism, that is me. That is me. Like, I'm a girl's girl. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a girl's girl. And I think that a lot of the issues that we have are unnecessary, and a lot of them are about like desirability, being picked, and not like talking about like pick me stuff, but like shit, seriously, being chosen. Because they've created such a thin line for black women specifically to exist in. And so you have to qualify by throwing away so much of yourself to be protected and seen. It's also about like survival. Let's talk about that. Like desirability is connected to survival. You being desirable, you being seen as a black woman who is, what is the word? Alaska's all I got. That's funny. But you being a black woman who is agreeable, right? Meaning you can't speak your mind, or they'll create these paradigms, like these things that you have to live under, these things that you have to check off to be desirable, to be seen as protective worthy, to be seen as something to protect, whatever, someone to protect, I don't know. But like, yeah, our desirability is connected to our survival within this patriarchal society. If we didn't have the patriarchy, thriving, we wouldn't be fussing about half the stuff we talking about. It's just so annoying. Like, it's just so annoying. When I go online and everybody's talking about the same thing, it's very annoying to me and my homegirls. It's really annoying. Anywho, but yes, those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. Let me come back up. Yes, good bone structure. We do. But I'm also meaning like we have the goods. Like we have the theories. We have the commitment to our community, to each other, to ourselves. But yes. Oh no, triggered. I'm looking for a home right now. Listen, okay? Listen. Okay. Let me come down. Y'all are funny. Woo. Let's see. The system fosters competition. Yep. Competition amongst women. And many of us perpetuate this. 1000%. A lot of us have internalized misogynoir. And a lot of us agree with patriarchy a lot, if we're being honest, right? Like a lot of us have participated in it, whether we knew it or not. And that's the thing, like it's not to be shamed. It's like, no, we live in a system where this is the system. And so they're like, oh, this is just, let me just go with the system, right? But I am in a state where I'm pushing back on a lot of that stuff. Like it's not helpful. It's just not beneficial to but one person, or one kind of person, if I'll say that. Because even the men are suffering. Y'all trying so hard to be, if we're patriarchy princesses, you trying to be like patriarchy princes? I don't know, what is that? Because y'all not the king. So sorry, y'all not the king under this patriarchal paradigm. You feel me? Like you want to be a patriarchy prince and reap all the benefits, and then you mad and cussing out everybody, starting podcasts when it's not working out for you very well. It's giving self-hatred. It's giving anti-black. You know what I'm saying? All these different standards. Like, oh, I'm a high value man. I make money. I dress good. I smell good. I look good. Are you on an auction block? What's going on? What is this language? It's not working. It's not working. Anywho, thoughts. Okay. So like I said, if these people are truly abundant and wealthy, we have gone all over the place, but I love it. If we're talking true abundance and wealth, That means that you are sharing your resources. That is abundance is not just taking for yourself. That's assumption, excuse me, that's selfishness, that is vanity. It's about yourself. Abundance is about the whole, it's about the collective, it's about everyone doing well. And if you have the information, give it, right? Like, and again, I'm not saying like don't charge for stuff. That's not what I mean. I just mean like for the folks who are hailing themselves as like, I am the coach for this. I am the whatever for like spirituality and abundance or whatever, but you don't give nothing. How that work? How that work? You know, you spiritualizing things that you could do differently. You got the money, just give it. Like, we don't have to do a whole like, and I'm talking obviously specifically for these people. You know who I'm talking about. But we don't have to have a whole like silent meditation on the beach led by this like world-renowned white person who is like the leading in meditation or whatever to solve the world's problems. Y'all have the resources, you're just hoarding it. Give it up. As in share. Like how they taught you as a kid, share. Share, exactly. Christ affiliation. Hey, happy that you're here. Thank you for being here. True abundance is pouring out. It is. It is. Like, y'all don't feel good sharing? Not y'all, but like the people. Y'all don't feel good sharing your stuff? It's like you're taking all the resources and building your own castle with it and looking down on all the poors saying, if you just try hard enough, you'll get like me. No, you took all our stuff. Just like this idea of like self-made billionaires and millionaires, there's no such thing. There's no such thing. Nobody is self-made. We're all made up of other people. Other people, our teachers, our ancestors literally made up of them. The businesses like Amazon and all these different things, they're made up of poor folks. And the workers who work for them that they're stealing wages from. Y'all are selfish. Not y'all. You know, I'm not talking about y'all. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Did I say that? My bad. World-renowned white person. My bad. But yeah, it's like, y'all know, like the language, these frames that are used, like they're the authority in some sort of way. How are you the authority when you steal your wealth? How? Why do I want to take a course from you when that's not even my ethic? That don't make no sense. Yikes. Oh no, I just remember the femininity coaches. I have thoughts about that too. I have thoughts. But yes. So again, the abundant thing would be to address those issues. The folks talking abundant should try to be abundant and share resources in bold. Resources in bold. Should share resources and information and access in bold. And information too. Connections. Use your what is the word? Use your privilege for good. Ain't nobody mad you got privilege if you helping other people. Nobody's mad about that. We're mad that it has to be that way. But if you're using your privilege for good, your resources for good, ain't nobody mad at you. Thank you. Because let's talk about it. The idea of having limited resources, like poor folks are already working so hard. I don't want to hear it. I cannot say this word. People who are experiencing poverty or lack of resources or wanting, right? These people are the hardest working people, period. You're not going to convince me otherwise. They are already hardworking. To tell them to work harder to get to where you are, when you didn't work hard, when all you did was steal wages and like grift people and steal people's information and then repackage it and sell it no. So I said, we already have limited resources, folks like us, right? I mean, I'm not going to say that about you. I'm talking for myself. Folks like me already have limited resources. We're already communal and abundant. Best believe when I don't have the money, I'm calling one of my friends. That's what we do. We're communal people. And what I said at the end of my notes is abundance ain't abundance if everybody can't eat. If everybody at my table can't eat, it's not abundance. Even in this, and I'm saying at my table, I'm thinking about everyone, right? Like, yes, I think about my family, I think about my friends, my people, you all, right? But also like everyone. There are people here who are billionaires on their way to being, I don't even know, whatever. If there are people here who are billionaires, multi-billionaires, right? If they're billionaires, why are there people unhoused, hungry, ill, struggling? Is that really abundance? Is that really wealth? And why is wealth defined by other people struggling and suffering. What y'all laughing at? Chica cutting up. What'd she say? Introducing our retreat instructor, the one, the only white person. Chica, please. That's funny. That's funny, but it's true. It's true. That's funny. Kentrice M. Hello. Because they took everything from us is why we're lacking. That's the whole point. Thank you so much. Wrapping up nicely in a bow. Because they took everything from us is why we are lacking. We rebuild, they burn down and steal, leaving us to keep starting from scratch. Literally. When I think of folks being released from enslavement, right? First of all, everybody ain't get released. But when I think about people, oh, well, you're so happy now and you have all opportunity. They didn't have all opportunity. With what? Like starting your life over, they literally started from scratch, from behind scratch. Whatever is before scratch, that's where they started. And I think about how resourceful and abundant they had to be to get us to where we are right now. You not finna tell me, you are not finna tell me that my ancestors were scarcity mindset, had scarcity mindset. There's no way. They literally started from scratch over and over again. Let's also keep it real, over and over and over again, because there was a study done about college graduates, and I think it was in the 70s or something. And I might be butchering it. I don't have all the resources in the work cited, but the cited sources, excuse me. But there was a study done where black folks go to college, black women specifically. It was about black women. Black women go to college and they bring that degree back home to get the job, and then whatever extra they made, they helped their family with, they helped their friends with. So it's an extra burden, right? And so another reason why black folks couldn't get ahead with wealth is because we're communal people and we're giving to each other. Because if I make it, right? If I make it, I got to take care of my mom and my brother and my aunts, right? That's the thought process we have. So we bring that wealth back to the community. Other communities don't do that. And other communities don't have to do that. Some might, right? But generally speaking, other communities don't have to do that. We did. We chose to do that because we felt a responsibility to our fellow man. And so every generation will go to school, get a degree, come back, and we're starting from scratch because all our wealth that's tied to that degree is going back into the community. And now it's very different, right? Because what is a college degree anymore? I'm not saying don't go to college, but at this point, a college degree for a lot of jobs, they want you entry-level position, which is not an entry-level position. Because they're exploiting us. But yes, from scratch. Hoarding resources comes from a lack mentality. They cause others to lack because they are lacking spiritually. 1000%. So it's kind of ironic. No, you're teaching, is it irony? You're teaching me how to become wealthy by changing my mindset, but you also have not let go of your limiting beliefs and your scarcity mindset because you're hoarding resources. Yes. And same. I had the same thoughts. Billionaires are highly questionable. There's no ethical billionaire. There's not. I know it's been said, and I'm is that true? Is that true? Yes. There's no ethical billionaire. There's no way. I've tried to do the math. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a financial analyst. I'm not none of that. But the math is not mathing. Okay? How you got billions of dollars and I got pocket change? How that make sense? And people working for you have pocket change. You're hoarding resources. Hi, LB. LB says, hello again. Wealth has been distorted by capitalism. Yes, 1000%. Yes. And then you only get 2 sentences for that $800. Oof. Tell me more. Let's see. Hi, Tiptoe Through the Tulips. I love that name. How do you feel about spoon-feeding people issues versus teaching a man to fish? How do you feel about spoon-feeding people issues versus teaching a man to fish? Spoon-feeding people issues. I probably need more clarification, but I think, do you mean how do I feel about giving to people versus teaching a man to fish? I think you can do both. I think it's harmful to be like, I'm not going to give you anything, but I'll teach you how to do it. They're hungry. They're not going to retain that information. They're hungry. Give to the need. Even like when I think about like Christians and they want to, like, what is the word? When they want to go out into the community and evangelize. They want to evangelize to people. It's harmful. You're going in, first of all, it's very colonizing of you to go into a place that you think is like less for. First of all, how you know they don't know God? Let's start there. Secondly, you're not from that community. Get out. You don't know the culture. You don't know the cultural context. Again, a whole other issue. But like, you're telling people about this Jesus. You're not giving them no food, no money, no shelter. You're not helping their community in any other way except that you're offering them Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Feed the people. Even Jesus that you're referencing fed the people. What the need that the people have right now? Resources, food, money, all those things. That, like, you can wait to share the Jesus. That is sharing the Jesus. You being generous, you being kind, you being thoughtful, that is sharing Jesus. Now, like, do you know my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Are you prepared for his return? Like this, like, and then we go in with like this scare tactic mentality, like anybody's trying to hear that anyway, but you don't even care about their well-being in general, you know? And again, this is not for you, tiptoe through the tulips. It's just, let me take this down. This is for my Christian brothers and sisters out there. Like, if you not living it, don't talk about it. It's embarrassing. Stop talking about it. If you're not feeding people, don't talk about it. If you're not helping people, don't talk about it. There's nothing to talk about. You're not nobody to listen to. You don't care. You trying to get a check mark on your own box and do things selfishly. I have thoughts. That part. Their Jesus is not ours. Exactly. Hi, Echo Lyris. Did I miss this? No. Well, we're about to wrap up, but it's okay. I'm going to leave the replay up if you want to rewatch it, but I'm happy that you're here. Welcome. Let's see. Yeah, we talked about a lot. I unfortunately gave a troll some energy that I wish I could take back, but it is what it is because I meant what I said. Yeah. Yeah, it's spoon feeding solutions, not oh, okay. Spoon feeding solutions. Okay. Spoon feeding. Do I have a problem? So let me go back. Excuse me. I'm sorry. How do you feel about spoon feeding people solutions versus teaching a man to fish? Okay, so that's a totally different, excuse me, I'm sorry. That's a totally different question. Okay, how do I feel about spoon feeding solutions versus teaching a man to fish? I think that I think that we gatekeep stuff we shouldn't gatekeep. If we have a solution to a problem, just give it to them. I really don't understand. I don't understand the need to have to, okay. I have layered thoughts. I don't understand the need to keep information and solutions away from people if you have it to offer it. I don't understand. Except from like a business context, maybe like, oh, I'll give you the solution, but only if you give me X, Y, and Z. I don't know. Now my internet's acting up, so I hope you can still hear me. But either way, like I'll give you the information if you pay me this, whatever. Where I think it should be like, we should just offer information. And for me, like, this is how I set up my business. This is my business ethic in my mind, right? I give you the information. I don't have no problem sharing it, right? And so for business, for me, it's like, but let's walk through it together. You know, does that make sense? Where that's teaching a man how to fish, so to speak. Where it's like, yeah, I'm giving you the information, but like, I don't want you to have to do it alone. You know, and to compensate for my time and energy, this is what I charge. But am I answering your question tiptoe through the tulips? I'm stuttering. Tiptoe through the tulips. Am I answering your question? I hope I am. If I'm not, please ask it a different way. But I hope that makes sense. I think that we should just give people solutions if we can. And if they, from a business aspect again, that's the only way that I can really consider it being beneficial in some way, selfishly. But yeah, I don't see the benefit in hoarding information and solutions to issues. But yeah. But yes. LB says, I think binary thinking is limited and we're socialized to do it. Step 1 of my self-help course. Liberate yourself from the binary mind. Fair. And same. A lot of my thoughts on certain issues that people ask me about is like, what else could be true? Like, maybe it is this or maybe it is that, right? But what else could be in between? And I'm going to talk about something controversial. Sorry, y'all, but here we go. We're here already. When people want to talk about 2020, when everybody was arguing about whether to take something or not take something, y'all know what I'm talking about, but I can't really say it, right? Hopefully. A lot of people were saying, if you don't take it, you're a dummy. And then some people were saying, if you take it, you're a sheep, right? And I'm like, what about all this messy middle? What about all this like in between? I think we're very used to trying that binary thinking keeps our brain from working so hard. It makes sense, right? Like it's like, oh, that's those kind of people. Oh, those are those kind of people, right? But then for the people who are like who are not, okay, let's start there. People who didn't take it, right? It's like, yes, maybe they are those 20, what is it? 25, 45 supporters and like they're selfish. Okay, sure. But maybe also, especially for black folks, so sorry. I have a lot of grace for black folks. Maybe also, we also know the history of medical harm done to us in this country. And people were like, I don't trust it. Y'all don't do nothing for free. Fair. These are fair concerns. And again, I don't feel either way, one way or the other. I don't. But like, fair. Like, why is there so much, like, these are fair questions. Those are fair concerns. And then you have the other side where it's like, well, I'm taking this because, like, I have to. For my job, there are some people who took it who didn't want to take it for their job, for being employed. There are people who took it because they didn't want to get their parents sick. Right? It's not about being a sheep. It's about trying to protect the people around you. Like when they were saying that it protects, when it stops it from spreading. I think that was like, a big thing. But also like there is a bunch of middle. A lot of this binary thinking has us all in a chokehold. We're so used to labeling people just flat out. You don't even know those people. You don't know them. You don't know the reasons why. Did you survey people and actually ask? Maybe people are misinformed. Maybe people don't understand. You're telling people to trust the science. They don't know how to read a medical journal. They don't know what these words mean. And I'm speaking as one of those people. I don't know what that means, right? Like, I'm a layman, so to speak. And, that's a controversial term that I just learned is a controversial term for my husband. We'll talk about that at a different time. But, like, there are people, like, we are people who like to categorize people because it makes people understandable to us. It flattens the experience of people, and I think that's harmful. So my whole point is with the binary thing, same. I'm trying. It's very easy to get caught up in the thing. You know what I mean? And like the either or. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's a lot of in between, and that takes more work to understand and more empathy and understanding and patience. We're talking about something that existed for 3 years. That's not a long time. It's not that simple. And we need to cool it. Relax. Anyway, so I have thoughts. Hi, King of Brawls. On the pandemic side, I get the side from the history, but there's also a lot that has happened since then that does not get trickled down. Fair. Again, both. That's where I am. Yes. It's not either or for me. It's yes. Yep. Fair. True. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't fall into this. I really hated that time. I mean, I hate anytime there's like a super like either or, because it's never that simple. Humans are so complex. And at the end of the day, what it really showed me was that everyone was scared. That's the truth. Everybody was afraid. And everybody wanted the truth of what they believed to be the truth to save them from what we could not control. We felt so out of control. And me categorizing people helps me to feel like I'm in control. Oh, you didn't, you got sick because you didn't do the thing. Oh, you got sick because you did do the thing, right? It keeps me away from you. That's it. We're all just scared. And so we're pointing fingers, scared to death, literally scared to death. We're scared. That's it. That's all that showed me. Listen, Simone Bailey Campbell, hi. Okay. I don't know what I'm reading. And I have a science degree. Right? I have a science degree. I don't know what the heck I'm reading. Anyway. So yes. Yes, it was just fear. Like and this is what I'm saying. It's fair because it was scary. I remember at the beginning of that thing, we were in North Carolina. I was freaking out. I didn't want to step outside. They thought like, oh, it can travel like through the air. There was so much stuff going on. You didn't know what was true, what wasn't. And I was on Twitter all day long, doom scrolling. People were sharing their experiences with that, right? And they were sharing their experiences with that. And so like, I'm trying to like, okay, what if this happens? This is what I have to do in X, Y, and Z. Like, it was a scary time. And I wish that we all said, I'm scared, I don't know what to do. I wish we could have been vulnerable enough to say that. Like, I'm horrified, actually. And me thinking that I have all the answers and you being stupid and foolish makes me feel better about myself, makes me feel less scared, because now I feel like there's something I can control that'll keep me from this. And we know that's not true. Like like from experiencing the illness, right? Like when I went down for my grandmother's funeral last year, um, we had a bout of that happened after the funeral because somebody brought it and didn't tell people. And so people who were and were not, who did and did not take it, got sick. It was a very humbling experience for all of us. When you're face down, struggling. Oh, that's good, Truth Eternal. That's good. I'm glad. I was horrified. I'm gonna be honest. I was scared. Like my husband had to get me off the phone. I was scared. And then it happened. And I was scared the whole time. And I still low-key am, because, you know, people talk about like complications after the fact. And like, you know, this insecure place that we were in, I feel like was something that united us. Like we don't know what we're doing, but we're trying our best. At the end of the day, everybody was trying their best. Anyway. But yes, thank you, LB, for that binary thinking. Goal, quiet room. Okay, class, it's quiet time. Would you like to go to the quiet reading corner or quiet art corner? Result, student believe they have a choice and teacher gets a quiet room. That's actually really good. That's a good example. Either way, the teacher gets what the teacher wants, okay? The teacher gets what the teacher wants. Same. I was worried for myself, yes, but I was also worried about my elders. Oh my gosh, I was so worried about my elders. Like, God, please, you know. Yeah. And that's your right. This is the thing. People are like, oh, you didn't take it. That's your right. It's your body. That's how I honestly feel. If you took it, that's your right. If you didn't, that's your right. You know what I'm saying? But to label people as either or is silly to me. It's silly. Oh no, Justine Riley. I was in Korea when it all started and got stuck. Yeah, I saw that a lot of people got stuck. First of all, much love to you. I can't even imagine what that's like. Oh man, me too, Chica. I missed out on jobs due to lockdowns. I was disappointed. Me too. I was literally on track to be hired somewhere. Then I had to get on unemployment afterwards because my job didn't come through. It was working like face to face with like the community, so everything was shut down at that time. So yeah. I was far more concerned with my grandma than my own health. Yeah. When they're listing like all the things, all the things that it might intensify, I was like, oh my God, I know so many elders with these things, and I was scared. I was like, don't go nowhere. And you know, the elders, a lot of them didn't. Not saying they didn't care, but a lot of them was like, girl, you know. Sadly, some of my elders were like, what's the word? Some elders were like, if it's my time, it's my time. I was like, please don't talk like that. Please, we're trying to have you around for a long time, right? And obviously, yes, like our elders lived through a lot of things. So that's for them, fine. But I was like, I don't want nothing bad to happen to you, please. Yeah, I took it and still got it. It was a horrible experience, and people who didn't have it, oh, Shanice. Hi, Shanice. It's good to see you. Thank you for watching. I took it and still got it. It was a horrible experience, and people who didn't have it as bad tried to pass me off like I was faking. Oh no. Yeah, no. It's like a very personal thing. It's a very personal thing. Okay? The great grandmas and the grannies, they're like, girl, whatever. Please. Like, I got other things to worry about. Like, please. Yes, but to be fair, they lived through some things. Okay? They've seen some things. So, I mean, maybe to them, they're like, all right. And then also, like, it was also downplayed, to be fair. It was also downplayed by our leadership in the beginning that it wasn't that serious. I believe in the value of vaccines. I was heated during that time. Understandable. Oh no. The elders were like ready to go. Yikes. But yes, it's true. Okay, we're all off topic, but I hope that what I'm saying is making sense. I hope what I said is making sense. Again, thank you all for helping me work through my thoughts and my ideas about abundance and scarcity and how it's actually harmful, the stuff that we say. I had other thoughts, and maybe let me just read through some of them that I wrote down. We could talk about this in detail a different time. Oh yeah, none of my elders cared. All of us just kept each other company. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh no. Evelyn Crone says, I have long COVID symptoms and I eat well and work out. It almost took me out. Grateful. I'm grateful you survived too. I'm grateful you survived too. And again, that's why I said like it was a humbling experience because the most healthy people were still contracting and experiencing harm from this thing. It's something that we should have taken seriously earlier, but also it kind of wasn't our fault because again, it was being downplayed by other people. It's a whole thing. But yes, and I'm so happy that you are still here with us. I'm happy that you're still here with us. Yes. Okay. So some of the other harmful sayings that we say, opinions that we have. Let me just read this to you. One thing I forgot to add. Don't call yourself black. That's gonna be a whole other live. Let me write this down. I feel like this is ASMR. But don't call yourself black. I have gotten a lot of comments about how I shouldn't call myself black and it's oppressive and it's an oppressive term, and I have a lot of complicated thoughts about that. So don't call yourself black. I already said you have a scarcity mentality. That's harmful to me. Stop being so emotional. We'll talk about that a little bit more. God doesn't give you more than you can bear. Looking at you, Christians. God doesn't give you more than you can bear. Like I said, you attract who you are. You attract what you are, or like the energy or the, however people want to phrase it. You attract the same energy or vibration. You attract your same vibration. Right? Like, yeah, there are a lot of things that I want to talk about. They say like if you don't call yourself black, you're like to call, like I've been told, call yourself African American, or I don't even know, Hebrew. What's a different one? Jamal, while you're over there. Anyway, I don't know if he's listening. Either way, like I've been told like to call myself all different types of things except for black, because black is supposed to be representing all things bad. But then let me just say this, right? When you're telling me not to call myself black, you're basing okay, yes, Aboriginal, yes, that's another one. At the end of the day, okay, Hebrew, yeah, I mean, it depends on what you believe, yes. Some also people say that they are the original Native American. That's a whole thing. Like there are different beliefs and different whatever. But for me, the issue with all that aside, the issue with not wanting to be called black is that you, even though you think that, okay, people say they don't want to be called black because it's a term created by the oppressor, right? To label us as black, and everything that they call black is bad. Black magic, black whatever, black death, right? All this stuff is bad. But I'm like, since when did they become the authority on what words should mean? Like, if I am afraid to call myself black as a culture, as a, like, capital B black, if I'm afraid to call myself black with pride, because I'm not ashamed of being black. I'm not ashamed of being black. I'm not ashamed of my history, because that's not my shame. That's not my shame. I'm not ashamed of my enslaved ancestors. I'm not ashamed of none of that. But if I am defining my blackness on their belief of black being bad, isn't that still buying into their system? If I'm making them the authority on the definitions of words and what word is good and bad, aren't I still defaulting to them knowing better than me? That's my thought. Like when people say that to me, I'm like, who said that black means bad? Who said that? They made that up. Why am I like, if I am not supposed to use them as the standard, why do I care what they think about the words I call myself? Why should I care about how they think about what I refer to myself as? This is the thing, like black folks, oppressed folks, no matter where you are, take terms used to oppress them and use it and turn around for pride. Things that they're proud of. I have no problem being black. That is my understood lived experience, right? And then this is a whole other thing. When I was working at Providence Hospital, well, in DC, I just said it. When I was working at a hospital in DC that's no longer existent, I was working there, and one of my coworkers was from Nigeria, and another one was from Ethiopia. And we were working together, and we were having this conversation about like African American, and they didn't believe that I should call myself an African American. I asked why. They said because your grandmother or like your great grandmother is not from Africa. And I was like, okay, but like at the end of the day, aren't we, don't we all go back to Africa at the end of the day? But I also understand for them, that's a very different thing to them, right? And then specifically, are you Ethiopian American? Are you Nigerian American, right? For them. But like for them, it's a very different thing to hear someone who in their mind is not necessarily from the continent of Africa directly to call themselves African American. So I also understand that different names have different, different names have different definitions depending on who you are. But in general, as oppressive people, why am I allowing their language to define me? And also English is already so limiting. English sucks. There's no nuance, there's no poetry, there's no like, everything is so direct, and there's no spirituality behind the language. It's just English, right? Like, and so because English is already so limiting, there's like no words to describe my culture. But when we say Black with a big B, we understand it. Like it's you get it. Those who get it get it. But I'm not ashamed of my Blackness. But that's, again, well, I guess we just had the conversation. But that's basically like what it came down to me. I'm like, like, to me, it's like, that's your understanding of Black, but that's not mine. And that's okay. Like, if you don't want to be called Black, don't. Call yourself whatever you want to. But I'm not offended if someone calls me Black with a capital B. And even if they call me something else, like, yes, it can be harmful, but that's not my shame to own. They just don't have the right understanding of me. I don't know. Anyway. Exactly. So don't tell me how I should define myself, because I don't like that. I like distinguishing us as Black and letting other groups define themselves. Yes. I think it's hilarious that POC is in right now, but if an elderly white person called us colored, we'd be upset. Hello? Because the context is coming from. People just don't say colored here. You know what I'm saying? Like in other cultures they might, but they don't just say that here. But yes, don't POC me. I'm a Black woman. That matters, right? Like I don't really like the term POC in general, or by POC. Like, I understand what they mean, but it's just like a catch-all, and it feels lazy to me. Like every community within that people of color has their own needs, has their own needs, has their own need for equity, right? Like, and so to combine all of us together like we're all the same is silly, in my opinion. We're not all the same. It's lazy. Get to know every culture. Get to know talk to them. Get to know what they need. Like, and even when we talk about like, in general, like we all have generalizations, and we all do this, and like I'm trying to get better. Oh, all Black people are the same. That's not true. We know that's not true. Or the idea of like, oh, all Asian folks are the same. That's not true either, right? Are we talking South Asian? Are we talking Indian? Are we talking like Philippines? Are we talking Japan? Are we talking China? Right? Like all these different things, all these different contexts, and even within the country, the different caste systems and different experiences, like the different religions, the different cultures. It's a lot, I know, but it's like, to POC is to make everything so flat and easy for you to experience, and it feels oppressive to me. It feels lazy. POC lets others use African Americans for their gain. You said it, lemonade, Lexus. I feel the same way. I do feel that way. I do. POC is annoying. BIPOC is laughable. Same. I don't like it. With POC, Black ends up getting pushed to the bottom. Yeah. I mean, because even within their own cultural context, Black folks within their culture are at the bottom, right? Like, anti-Blackness is global, and I mean that. Anti-Blackness is global. And so, like, for Black folks within their system and what they're fighting for, there's still a caste system within them. You know what I mean? Colorism still exists in other countries and other cultures, right? And so, yes, that makes sense. And that's why I said also, we all need separate things. We need new things. The Black folks within your culture needs different things than you need. So yeah, it's complicated. It's a lot. That's it. And then when you say like brown, it's like, what does that mean? Like, who are we talking about specifically? Give me specifics. I need to know. I want to know. I do want to know. Like, this is my, what's about Laotian experience? This is my like, specific experience. even like when I speak to Nigerians, right? Like there's a distinction. I'm Yoruba versus like, like the differences matter. And I think that I think oppressive systems think that differences complicates things, or differences, complicates things. That it makes things more complicated, and it's not as easy or as it's not as simple to deal with. And so to make it easier for them, they generalize, they put all together. And like I said, our brain does this. We do the same thing, right? We just don't have the system to back it up to oppress other folks. But like we do this because it makes it easier. But it's, if you're really going to be about it, find out about it. Because even like I said, within the black context, a light-skinned black woman versus a dark-skinned black woman, very different experiences. Featureism, right? Very different experiences. Classism, very different experiences. And so like you really got to be thoughtful about what you really want to get involved in. Number one, what you really have the capacity for, like, and also not be lazy to just cover everybody. Okay. Let's see. Do you think race should be a thing in general? Not in the way that they designed it. No, not in the way that they designed it. Do I think there should be respect in differences? Yes. That's not, race was created to oppress, right? But we can celebrate other cultures, other experiences, other bodies, you know what I mean, without oppressing other people. And I think that what race has done is done the opposite. It doesn't value, it doesn't honor, it destroys, it demeans, and it makes other people conform to their idea of what a good race is. If that makes sense. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think there's nothing wrong with you having, a heritage month for your culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. Yes, I want to help celebrate you. You know what I'm saying? How can I honor you all in this month, right? There's nothing wrong with difference. The issue is when you think your different is better than everybody else's different. That's where it gets a little messy. But anyway, we've been talking for almost 3 hours, y'all. Let me see. Oh, POC. Sorry, Truth Eternal. POC is person of color or people of color, and by POC is Black Indigenous people of color. Black Indigenous people of color. So yeah. So it's like a general term that people use for anyone that's not white, or like what we understand to be as white. Because even that gets tricky too. Yeah. Anywho, but yes, that gets tricky too. Because even though you belong to one culture, right, you still might present as white. And so you still get the benefits of presenting as white. So it's, yeah. Same. Anna and Amelia V, same. Exactly. People of color is a catch-all for non-white people. Exactly. Oh, no problem. Truth Eternal. No problem. Hello, do you have a Patreon? I do. And hi, formerly known as Yes, I'm Here for the Mess. Oh, formerly known as, what's going to be the new name? Please share. Let me actually share my Patreon. Thank you. I actually need to plug my Patreon more often. If you all want to support, if you can't, I totally understand it. But if you want to support me, let's see. Paste. Okay. That's my Patreon. It's pay what you want, pay what you can. Everything goes a long way. I really appreciate it. Thank you for asking. Oh, shoot. Patreon and Spotify. Our new partnership lets you distribute podcast episode directly on Spotify. Oh, that's going to be nice. Okay, but anyway. So that's my Patreon if you want to support. I really appreciate it. It helps me to continue to do the work. Helps me to eat. Helps me to keep creating art. I'm an independent artist out here making stuff from scratch, hoping for the best, talking my mind and my heart and my soul. And yeah, and we, these complicated relationships we have with platforms like YouTube and Spotify, that's a whole other conversation for a different day, how they exploit the creators and the users of the product. They make the most money while paying people the least. If you want to support me, that really helps me. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. That helps me out a lot because, yeah, we all need money to survive. So I appreciate those who contribute, who donate, who, even if you can't give money, who just are just kind. I appreciate that. Because this is my heart's work. This is my heart's work. So yes. Oh, you must be behind. English is jacked up. I don't like English. I love learning different phrases and words from different languages. I'm like, wow, how poetic. And you're like, English is so basic. But yes. So that's that. Let's see. Gina says, and white people aren't white. Yes. We're all mixed up due to slavery. James Baldwin expressed this eloquently during his time. Yeah, absolutely. When I took an ancestry test, and let me actually pull it up. We just chilling today, I guess. It's fine. Ancestry. Did I do ancestry? What do we do? My heritage. My heritage. Thank you. Oh, so I'm on a trip, right? And I was supposed to go alone. I was supposed to go alone on this trip, and my family wasn't having it. So my husband came with me, and I'm glad because when we got to the Airbnb, there were so many things, y'all. There were so many things that was going on. Oh. But anyway, it's not pulling up because everything's whatever. Anyway, so everything's in Spanish. So I'm trying to pull the stuff up, it won't pull up. But anyway, I have apparently I am West African, Nigerian, Ghanaian, Kenyan. It's like all these different, and I would love to actually find out like what tribes I belong to, but I'm like all over the place. And then I also have, of course, white folks in me. You know what I'm saying? Got some North European folks in me, and it's like, oh, I wonder how that got there, right? Like, so, like, yes, we're all mixed up. Like, there's variations and variety, and though I only culturally understand this context, right? Black woman, specifically Black woman on the East Coast of America, you know what I'm saying? I only understand this context. I understand that, yes, I am all mixed up. There's a lot of culture and stuff in me. A lot of stories that have been untold, a lot of things in there that I'll probably never know the true history or story about. And so, like, race just simplifies everything. But culturally, like, yes, it's very different. And, yeah. I can go on and on. But, yes. Oh, thank you. I deserve millions of dollars. I appreciate that. As long as it's ethical. But, yes, I would give away most of the money. But I appreciate that. All right, y'all. I think that's all I had to say today. This one, Jamal laughs. This went on for almost 3 hours, but I'm glad that it went on because we had, I can't say why can't you say I'm highly melanated? Why not? I love that. That's beautiful. But yes, like scarcity mindset, abundance mindset. Maybe I'll make another video that like simplifies all this because who's going to listen to a 3-hour video? We don't know. But anyway, y'all are here. So maybe, but the idea is that it's not you. It's not you. Like this idea of you being scarcity mind, like we all do have scarcity mindset that we need to work through, but it's yes and. Yes, we have scarcity thoughts and things like that, but we also have scarce experiences. We have an understanding because we've experienced it. We've heard stories of it, right? It's not something we made up in our mind. It's not this boogeyman that doesn't exist. We know what that feels like. And I don't want you to gaslight yourself into thinking like, oh, the reason why I am suffering and struggling is because of me and my mindset. That's not true. That's not true. There are systems in place. There are people in power who want to see you struggle and starve. We have to be honest. We have to be honest about that. You're not making this up. You see it. You see it happening. But we can be agents of change. We can be like that key that people need, right? We can give what we have, even if it is limited. Like, was it Miss Lorraine? I'm sorry if I'm getting the person wrong. Somebody was saying earlier that like what you have is enough. Even if it feels like it's pennies, those pennies matter to some, like you giving those pennies to someone, it matters. It matters. And if everybody, hate that it has to like be us, right? The burden is like placed on us. But if everybody gave like some pennies, like that would help someone feast. So never discount like your impact on the world, on the people around you. You are abundant. You are abundant. There, like I said in the post, there are no lack of resources. There are no lack of land, and there's no lack, but people create the lack. But we can change the culture within our own culture. How do we want to interact with each other? Can we be generous with each other? Can we be kind to each other? Can we be understanding, empathetic? You know what I'm saying? Not dragging folks. Not dragging folks. Because they think differently than us. They present differently than us. They deal with the fear that we all have differently than us. Like that's how we start to change, like within the system. You know? Oh, it is. Listen, highly melanated, it's gorgeous. I wish I was highly melanated. It's gorgeous. It is. Listen, the black skin, the dark brown skin. Oh, like, and you can see like the undertones of different colors. It's just like gorge. Oh, I'm like, so it feel weird saying highly meant. That's okay. I mean, that's okay. That's okay. But yes, yes. Like Gina says, the system is not an accident. They are deliberately keeping folks in poverty on purpose. The powers that be want it this way. That part. That part. So it's not you. It's not you. For me, it never felt like it fit. Oh, what label? What is the label? What do you mean? Let me go back. Okay. If it's not black and not brown and not African American, then what term should be used? The way the world current the excuse me the way the current world is shaped by labels. Absolutely. So I just identify as black. I do, and so obviously, like there are layers underneath of my blackness, right? Depending on what class I belong to. Let's be real. Like the class I belong to, am I educated? Like at an institution or not? Am I, uh, like where do I live? All these different things create culture. The music we listen to, like the food we eat, all that stuff makes us individuals. But like I think we use the term black as like a I'll say like a catch-all, like like we know what that means. Like there's a warmth to blackness, there's a familiarity to blackness, even though you're in different places. There's still like a connection that we have. So I just say black, even if people don't like it. I say black. Justine, oh, I've been asking for your Cash App for me. Okay, let me get my Cash App. I'm so sorry. My Cash App is $Alicia Renice. Did I have that spelled right? Yes. Thank you, Justine Riley. I appreciate you asking. I'm sorry. I don't do enough. I talked about this last week. I don't like promoting myself. I don't like asking for money, but then like I need money. I don't like asking for money for my offerings, but then I need to survive and I want to help people. And it's like living between this frustration of like I wish money didn't exist, but I also need money to survive. That capitalism thing that we talked about with like fab socialism, right? That idea of like I can critique capitalism and I can still earn money because I got to survive and live. So I appreciate that, Justine. Thank you. Thank you for helping me to exercise bravery. Like, hey guys, if you like what you heard and you have it to give, I would appreciate it. That's my Cash App. If you want to share, let me actually share it below. Alicia Renice, if you want to donate, I appreciate it. If you don't have it or if you don't want to, you don't have to. I appreciate that too. I just appreciate y'all being here, listening in, caring for each other, caring for yourself. Okay? So yeah, so thank you. Yay, thank you. That's the thing about labels and boxes. They never seem to encompass all of what we are. They never do. They never do. They never do. But I love that, right? Because if a label does, it takes away the magic in learning somebody and meeting somebody and being intimate with them, right? Like intimately knowing them, asking questions about their lives and what they love and what they don't like the quirks about them. I think that's the beautiful part. I don't think that labels are supposed to be all encompassing. I think that takes the work out of, and I say work, not like, oh, it has to be heavy, but work like the magical work of getting to know people. You know, I love that, Anyway, so yes. Oh yes, could you answer grow your melanin? I am so sorry. Let me go back. Can you answer my question? Yes, let me go back. Okay. Ooh. Do you think white people live better lives than black people? That is a heavy question. It's loaded. What do you mean? That's because there's so many different what is better, right? Like how are we defining better? Do I think in the system, yes, right? Because the system was created for them to thrive. Now, morally, no. No. Like the people, I'm talking obviously like the white people in power, like the people who are oppressing other people and, because white poor people are going through it too. You feel me? But generally the people I'm talking about, the people in power who are oppressing other people, are they living a better life? Technically, because they have created it and constructed it so, right? But morally, they're corrupt. Spiritually, they're corrupt. They live in fear. I really believe that when you do evil to people, you don't have no peace. You can't have peace. You can't rest. It's like, again, that, what is it? The Telltale Heart? Raven, what is his name? Edgar Allan Poe. The Telltale Heart, like their conscience is eating them up, which is why they have to keep consuming. They're insatiable. It's a black hole. So no. In that case, no. If we're talking like, face value, how it looks, yes. But if we go underneath of that, no. There's no way. There's no way that you can be at peace and be happy and consuming and harming and destroying and eating up and like there's no way that you could live a better life than me. There's no way. If what I'm trying to do is beneficial. You know? That's how I feel. Oh no, you said yikes. Oh wait, hold on. I skipped more questions. What about middle class white folks? You really believe they live in fear? Um, I'm not sure. I really don't know. I can't really ask that. Can't really answer that question directly because again, there are some. Okay, what I will say is yes. If we're talking privilege, benefits, if we're talking accessibility, ease, yes, middle class white Americans is like the American dream, right? Like, so they have made it. I don't know if they have peace. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like middle classes and obviously different categories of people are struggling in different ways. But I feel like the middle class folks in general are feeling the squeeze. You know what I'm saying? Financially, period. But yes, I think if everything was up and up and good, yes. I think that financially, physically, probably, because you have access to healthcare, all these different things, maybe mentally they'd be better, but I'm not sure. I really don't. I really can't answer that question. Yeah. In fear of losing privilege, yeah. And even middle class, right? I think we also got to talk about like white flight and colonization, which is gentrification, right? No. If you're participating in that, then no. Absolutely not. Like, no. You know what I'm saying? So again, morally, that's a different conversation. Financially, whole, you know, how it looks, how it feels, sure. But morally, no. No. So I don't know. I hope I'm answering the question, but so you think it's surface level glamour, but the real stuff is really bad. I think if they allow themselves to go there, yes. If they confronted their own involvement and benefits from it, then yes, it's really bad. But if they're living in oblivion, you know what I'm saying? If they're choosing to live in oblivion, because like I said, like there are white folks that I know and love that are like that are anti-racist, but they also admit and acknowledge their privilege. They also know when to sit down and be quiet and not inject themselves into our conversations and like, you know what I'm saying? So I think it depends on the person. I don't know if I'm answering the question. Please ask again if I'm missing it completely. That part. And Watson says, America is fear-based society. All of us suffer except for the top 10%. And that's what I'm saying. Like, do I think middle-class white Americans versus middle-class black Americans have different experiences? Yes, absolutely. I think for middle-class black Americans, it takes more to keep it and to get it. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm glad I answered it. I'm sorry. I know I'm all over the place. But yes, what was I saying? Sorry. I think I lost my thought. Yes, it takes more for us to obtain it and to keep it. So it's not equal, right? Like white middle class versus black middle class is not equal. But yes. Yeah. You have middle class white folks that's beating and killing. That's true. Their kids live in large homes and abusing their kids, not at all, but they are not at all happy. Yeah. And that's why I'm saying like it depends, right? Maybe not. Yeah. Rabia says, by consuming, do you mean how they take from other cultures? Yes. And repackage and sell it to the masses. Yes. But also overconsumption, like greed, taking too much. To me, that's living in fear. That's scarcity. Taking too much. Setting up themselves to be well, but also to the detriment of other people. That's not a well person to me. A person who is hoarding. But also consuming, like literally taking people's land, gentrifying an area, taking people's ideas, selling it as their own, consuming bodies and people, making people work for pennies for your company so you make millions. That's consuming. Creating a system where, women have to be marketable to you, have to be beautiful to you, to care about them, and that's consumption. Like consuming is not just like taking things to me, it's also like the actual eating, like the eating of resources and people and ideas. I don't know. I'm gonna get in trouble this live. But yeah. The keep it part. Oh, Tommy, you're struggling with the keep it part? Hold on. Let me go back. Am I making sense, y'all? Justine Riley, done. Done with what? What's going on? I actually know what a person of color is. I initially didn't get the POC. I'm a 1968 baby, y'all. Hey, Truth Eternal. Ew, ew. Let's see. Having more money and resources still doesn't necessarily mean they're living better. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It depends on how you define it. That's all I'm saying. Shy, they're not well. The opioid, yeah, the opioid. Oh, why can I never say this? Opioid epidemic exists for a reason, but they get help. The crack epidemic happened and they just locked us up. Yeah, yeah. The criminalization of black folks. That's nothing new, but yes, yes. And the criminalization of the poor too. That's the whole thing. Rabia, you just described a horror movie consumption. Get Out. Yeah, yes. Get Out touched on that. Yeah, I watched Get Out through my fingers towards the end of the movie because it got really violent really fast. I can't really do a lot of violence. But the theme of the movie was on point. It was on point. Like, oh, let me use your body, right? Like when you think of like black folks in sports, I don't even like sports. I mean, I like playing it, but I don't like the system of it, the setup of it. I don't like boxing. I don't like none of that because it's like you're harming and beating up your body for the millions and billions of dollars that you're never going to see. You're feeding other people's pockets. They're using your body as a way to make money. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It's giving enslavement all over again. But yes. N. Watson says, America has the highest suicide and depression rates of all industrialized nations. I'm sure. We are also the most obese and have the most incarcerated persons. Yeah. I mean, again, incarceration is just enslavement. You know what I mean? Like, it's just another form of enslavement. And that is the foundation of this economy of this country. So yeah, you're finally. I'm struggling to establish myself because the keeping it part. LOL. Oh no. I just feel like I missed your. Please tell me more about the keeping it. I think I missed it. Chica says black people on crack, start a war and incarcerate. Yep. White people on opioids, label an epidemic and divert resources. 1000%. Because that's the American way. Faye says, I don't know how many people are really obese because of BMI scale. Called my boyfriend obese and he's built like a football player with a flat stomach. I have questions about the BMI scale too. Total transparency, I don't believe in it. I'm sorry. I know. All the health professionals out there, I'm so sorry. We have believed the idea of one or a few people so often we think it's truth, and it's been harmful. And then you're going to talk about people being overweight, but you're not going to talk about the factors that play into this. First of all, people's bodies are just different. Bodies are just beautiful, right? But also, like, folks who are poor have access to certain foods that make them unhealthy. Like, and that's okay, LB. That's okay. Again, I'm not sure about BMI. Oh, okay, yeah, me neither. I don't. Sorry, I don't. Again, like I said, I don't trust them. I don't trust y'all. So like when in the healthcare system especially, I don't trust y'all. Which is why I have some fears about that. You know, about going to the health. Are they gonna see my black body as worthy of being saved, as worthy as being cared for? Are they gonna listen to me, listen to my concerns, right? You can't even listen to what I'm saying, and you're trying to tell me that that's not pain, that's pressure. It's pain. But I'm supposed to believe everything you say. We've seen, again, like we talk about the history, the experience. We know what that feels like to not trust what's going on. I think that's fair. Okay, thank you, Chica. As a health educator, it's been established that much of medical standards are biased. Thank you for that, and I agree. Like it's something that we all feel, but we don't have language for, and so we think that we crazy. It's like, for giving us language for that. I appreciate that. Ina saying, hi, Ina. I'm a former health professional. I have never believed the BMI scale. At its base level, it doesn't take into account various aspects of the human body that contribute to weight. Thank you for that. I appreciate you and Chica. I appreciate that. Because it's true. A villainous crone says, my depression stopped when I quit my corporate job. I took a minor financial hit, but my mind is clear and I feel better, more peaceful. The system is what's causing a lot of our mental issues. Yes. Let me go journal about that. It's true. When I really think about like a lot of the triggers for my depression, and I'm not talking about obvious like chemical things like that, or like excuse me, life experiences as far as like maybe like grieving death or something else, like changes in a job. Like I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about some of my own triggers for my depression has to do with the system. The system. And like going to talk about it to a therapist is like, this is not changing the system. Who was I listening to? And they were talking about that too. It was this idea that it's like, we're all poor. Like me going to therapy is not helping me because I need money. I need access. I need resources. I need rest. Things that this system takes away from us. It's layered, right? Like, yes, therapy is great. It's wonderful. But like the systems are also oppressive. So we're just going to keep paying for therapy for the oppressive system we live under. It's a whole thing. But anyway, yes. The literal weight of your skeleton, the amount of water you might retain, and the muscle mass versus fat mass all play a role in weight composition. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. But a villainous crone, I'm glad that you're depression free. I love that for you. I'm glad that you chose yourself. I really am. I really am. Somebody asked, am I going to keep this up? Yes, I am. Where'd they go? Where'd it go? Oh, yes. Cleona Divine. Yes, I will post this video. I'm going to leave it up. I'm about to get off though, y'all. But yes. There's a black doctor who talks about the BMI of black women being different and based on white women people. Oh, yes. I love that. I love that. Cancer Alley, where black people were pressured to live at. Oh, no, hold on. Cancer Alley? Oh, yes. Absolutely, yes. BMI was not biased in science originally, I believe. I think it was just a numbers game. Oh, tell me more. Oh, thank you, Justine Riley. I appreciate that. And thank you. And I do want to honor those who also sent me stuff earlier this week. And I was not expecting that at all. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, Justine Riley. Thank you, Tyra H. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michelle Beetle Holder. I appreciate that. Thank you, Divine Yamoha Oshun. I appreciate you. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, Latura Mitchell. Thank you, Jay Wade. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, Marquita. I love you. But yes, I really appreciate you all who give. I really appreciate that. And also, there was someone else. Give me 1 second that I want to honor before we start to wrap up and head on out of here. Why is... I forgot. I might not have service. But either way, I'm going to... oh, no. Here it comes. Let's see. I almost said that out loud. Almost said that out loud. Okay, here we go. Yes, and I also want to honor... I gotta watch what I'm saying, y'all. Because I do not be safe. While it's coming up, I do want to see what you all are saying. To pay money just to live is mentally, physically, and spiritually exhausting. Yes, it is. Just, we gotta pay for somewhere to live. We gotta pay for food that we need or else we're gonna die. That don't make no sense. Is there a difference to you between anti-blackness and racism when it comes to the global convo, and Blacksit? Is there a difference between anti-blackness and racism? Is there? I think anti-blackness is under racism for me. I don't think that they are separate. I think they are connected. I think it might show up a little different. Like we can be anti-black, right? Like we can be anti-black to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like internalize anti-blackness. Oh, look at you and you're, whatever people say that is harmful or that has been made to believe that is a bad feature on black people or it's something bad that black people do. We can be anti-black towards each other, but racism, but it's an effect of racism. Because to me, racism is also power, is also structure, right? So like, you know what I'm saying? The structure for oppression and things like that. So yes, I think we can internalize anti-blackness, and I do think it's a little different, but they're connected. That's how I feel. Oh no, I'm paying for therapy whether I go or not. So I go, hey, I know that's right. I know that's right. I don't know why this isn't coming up, but someone sent me a PayPal, and I really want to thank them. I feel so bad. Let me see. I really want to thank them. Okay, we might be getting somewhere now. And I'm also somewhere else, so it might be like, we don't trust you. Okay, here it comes. Yes. Thank you, Michelle Jones. Thank you so much, Michelle Jones, for your offering. I really appreciate that. Your offering to me, your donation, I really appreciate that. Thank you, Michelle Jones. Yes. Okay. Yes. All right. I'm not sure that anything can be unbiased. That's true. We all have our biases, right? Or biases, is that the right word? All my English majors out there. We all have our own biases. So yeah, so they're gonna exist for sure. Absolutely. But I need, if you have them, it's just best to be aware of them and to check them. We're all gonna have them. It's to be aware of them and to check them, I feel like, is our work to do. You know? Yeah. All right, y'all. I had gotten therapy when I was younger and only had one nice experience. I'm sorry, but it's hard to find good therapy and it's expensive. So I'd rather let y'all heal and be around other people I love. And that's the thing, like, therapy, yes, right? I'm for therapy, I'm for it. But also, like, there is counsel among your friends. That's still counseling. You know, they might not be degreed, but that's still counseling. There's like support groups that you can go to that people might not be licensed, right? But they're willing to hear you and offer advice to you. That's still counseling. That's still counseling, right? So you, these systems, and I think about this often, not to I don't want to, I'm trying not to dismiss the therapy and all that great stuff, because I'm for it. I love it. But I also think, yes, like, I'm an advocate, learning to live. Yes, I'm an advocate for therapy, right? But it's like, also, we have always been in therapy or counseling of some sort as long as we're in community. It just might look different. It just might look different, right? It might not be like, oh, I'm going to a, license, whatever, but I'm going to my friends to cry and to get advice. That's still counseling. I'm going to an elder to get advice and to get, foresight on this thing. That's still counseling. So yes. Ooh, thank you. Let's talk about it with Mara. Coda is a free support group. It's good for anyone in the chat. Okay. Sorry. When I see Coda, I think of child of deaf adults. But what does Coda mean? Child of, please tell us. Child of D adult? Please tell us what that means. But that's awesome. But yes, please, please, please. Yes, community is healing too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Therapy does not look one way. It doesn't. It doesn't. I was watching something, and I can't take credit for this, but I was watching something, and we all know that, like, nature is healing, right? Like, we know, like, being around nature is healing, but somebody was talking about therapy and how people are missing nature when it comes to therapy, right? Like we're all like in these stuffy offices in the cold and like sitting on a couch and talking to someone, and like, but we need other things to supplement that therapy. That talking on a couch to a person who is cold and doesn't really care about us, who is kind of biased. I'm not saying doesn't care about us, but it's kind of biased, does something different than being around warm people who know us, love us, being in nature, right? There are so many different ways that therapy can look. And of course there's like, don't call yourself a therapist if you're not, right? But like, therapy is also going to your friends. Oh, thank you, Mara. Mara says it's focused on codependency, kind of like NA or AA meetings. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. Yes. Yes. 100. Group would be amazing in nature. Yes. Yes. It's healing. It's healing. It's the thing. This is going to feel slightly uncomfortable for me. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's true. Great grandfather is Irish. My grandmother is African American. They had 12 children together. Not sure how they got together, because the only story I heard about them is that he used to beat her. Oh, yikes. I'm sorry, Anna Amelia V. I'm really sorry about that. That's awful. That's awful. That's awful. Sorry, this is a continuation. I am mixed. My great grandfather is Irish, but he was really dark for a white man. LOL. But anyway, he was 10 years older than my grandfather, and he used to beat her. So I'm not sure how they got together. Yeah. I'm sorry. Learning to Live says, I'm an advocate. I am an advocate for therapy because it does work, but the lack of appropriate healthcare system keeps the people from the help they need. Yes. There is no legitimate reason why the healthcare system is trash. There's none, except for money and profit. That's it. That's it. Black people, women, men, and children have been demonized, criminalized, and extremely over-sexualized. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Evelyn Crone says, if aliens do exist, I see why they don't come to Earth. I see on my planet, in my galaxy, if I didn't live here either. Ew, Earth is ghetto. Okay. I saw a meme, and it was like, this person was like, who was the guy that's like, backpack on Instagram, and he wears like a wig and like dresses like Dora. Anyway, but it says like, oh, we don't have, what was it, heat waves? We don't have heat waves on my country, on my planet. And he like left, but for real. Anyway, it's funny. Yay, I'm glad. I've enjoyed this too. This has been a long one, y'all, but I appreciate you. Yes, going to therapy, then gluing yourself to the couch is like washing a vitamin down with soda. I like that. St. Cloverton James Jones. Yes, I like that. Yes, y'all funny. But anyway, I love you all. I hope what I said was hopeful. I hope it was helpful in some sort of way. I know it was helpful for me just to get my thoughts out, and maybe I'll come back and do a different video, more concise. But I appreciate the conversation. I really enjoyed the conversation. I am going to go now, but I love you guys. Love yourselves, and know that you are not the problem. Okay, sometimes it maybe it is scarcity mindset sometimes, and sometimes it's just scarcity because people are hoarding resources. Okay, we talked about a lot here. And I also I appreciate striding through doors. Thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate that. But yes, like, and also understand I'm fallible. I'm human. So take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm figuring this out every day. Every day learning something new. Interrogating my own thoughts, my own opinions, my own ideas. So if you have a pushback, that's also okay. Just do it kindly. But yeah, thank you all for being here. Oh, home of rent, exactly. You're just not working hard enough. Exactly. That's not true. We already said, to me, in my opinion, folks who are experiencing poverty are the hardest workers I know. They're the hardest workers I know. So yeah, so thank you. Thank y'all. Thank you for being here. Yay. All right. Yay. Awesome. You loved it all. Wonderful. I don't know, we might get some like, oh, unsubscribe from these videos. I don't know. But I'm glad that y'all are here. I'm glad that you hear my heart, that you see me. And I appreciate you for being here, for being honest and vulnerable and open, and even pushing back. I appreciate that. So thank y'all so much. Yay. Yes. Have an amazing day. Yes. Just take out small $500,000 loan from your parents. Chica, please. But true. Thank you for your wisdom and inspiration, sis. Thank y'all. Thank you. Before you go, do you take notes on what I've said? I have like a list on the side of like little thoughts, but I haven't really expanded on them. I probably do need to take notes. I have so many things I want to write and share, but it's just easier just to process in real time. But yeah. Grow your melanin. So are you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Your spirit, even though I've never seen you, your spirit is beautiful. So thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, yes. Thank you. Y'all are in here. I appreciate you. Yes, please. If you like the video, please like it. Please like it. It helps with the algorithm, all the different things. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, do I take notes for lives? Sometimes. Most times I do. Yeah. I hardly come on here with just like whatever. But these are like little scraps of ideas that I've had. I haven't really like expounded on them. So yeah. Hello, we ain't being accepted into the Federation anytime soon, okay? No, we're not. No, we're not. Hey, I'm glad. Okay, I hope it wasn't too long for y'all. I hope that y'all still vibed with it. And I love you, and I will talk to you all in the next video. All right. Bye. Bye, everybody. Have a beautiful day.